Xo'sh. Alaykum assalom, alaykum assalom. Nega bolalar, tuzyapsizlar, charchamayapsizlarmi? Ishlar yaxshimi? Tak. O'zgartiramiz. Tak. Ko'raylikchi, 12 o'yini boshlandimi yo'qmi? MSC. Yo'q, hali boshlanmabdi. Boshlanyaptimi? Nima qilamiz bolalar, ulab turaymi ekranni boshlangunicha? Ilhom. Srazu. Alaykum assalom.
12 oladimi deyman, chot
Yaxshi,
emas
rahmat.
ekani.
12 oladimi deyman, chot emas seni. Yo'q. 12 oladi, 12 oladi. Bolalar, tabriklasanglar bo'ladi. Nima deyapti? Bu faqat o'ynagan endi. Bu ko'chada ishlatgan. Onik nima bo'ldi? 3 pobedagacha o'ynadimi? Yo'q, hali beri o'ynagani yo'q. Hozir mana bu bratlar gapiradi. Davay, undan ko'ra bolam ne qilamiz? Bratlarni ulab beraman.
It was a hell of a series, another 5-game series. Hopefully today this one between Team Spirit and Onyx can also be 5 games because
gaplashib o'tiramiz ozgina o'yin boshlangunicha.
Time going through the ropes to the group stages, then the knockouts come to fruition for a lot of the teams here. I feel like even Onyx, they really had to adjust, but what made it work so well for both of them, Team Spirit and Onyx, is throughout the games we got to see them, they've really showcased just how strong they are at coming together as a team, the synergy that they have, because we've had such an interesting draft throughout this MSC and the meta that's formed, but really it's the execution from the team as a whole for both of them.
Team Spirit has been phenomenal, LaFell, and we've seen the emotion with them too. What are they playing with? A little bit of house money because no one expected them to be here.
Kechroq chiqadi. Streamda tugashi bilan, короче, o'yinlar tugadi. O'yin tugashi bilan agar ertaroq tugasa, sразу videosini chiqaraman narigini. Video olib, reaksiya qilib, agar sразу tugamaydigan bo'lsa, endi iloji ertaga cho'ziladi. Eslatning rahmat Abdulloh. Rahmat. 12 o'yini bor bugun. Mana hozir bo'ladi. Va alaykum assalom odam, nima gapsiz?
Like the guys that really made Team Spirit really special. Now Zara Egoist is playing pretty good. I don't know.
Ba'zida kameraga tushib qolishi mumkin. Muxlislar deb ko'rsatganda da bo'lishi mumkin. Siz va alaykum assalom Erjan, nima gap? Ertalab tura olmasin, bugun erta turib hozir kutdim streamda. Men 3 kunmi 4 kundan beri hovlida qolyapman. Shuni hisobiga ertalab stream yoqmayapti.
And of course, that would be Kid Bumba, Zara Egoist, the youngest player in this tournament in the jungle and in overall. Special on the side lane, special in the jungle, special all around. We caught up with Kid Bumba, who's had his family in the stands being an emotional support for him before the match.
It's Eterna here, and now we are with Kid Bumba from Team Spirit. Kid Bumba, first and foremost, we saw, I think, your family come all the way here to watch you. Was that the first time that they came?
My mom was gonna watch today, and I think my sister already left because she has work. And yeah.
How did you feel? Like, were you aware that they were gonna come for you?
Yeah, I was, obviously.
Yo'q, nimadir
I
dedi,
mean,
qolib ketib
it's
qoldi.
nice for them to finally come and watch
Alaykum
the
assalom,
tournament
imkoniyat
live.
nima gap?
For me,
Zo'r bu
doesn't make
turnirda
that much of a
piklarni kim
difference
tanlab
because
beradi?
I'm concentrated on the game.
Kelishilgan
But
o'yinchilar
obviously,
bilan trenerlar bo'ladi,
it's
ko'plab
nice,
trenerlarda
You locked
vibra
in.
bo'ladi.
Kid Bomba's locked
Finalmi
in.
kim?
But
Final emas,
did
final
your
emas.
mom say anything to you after the match?
Um, I don't think so. I mean, even if she said
Playoff
something,
solo
she could
da
probably
hozir
say to them
yutqizgan komanda chiqib ketadi.
already.
Was it the adrenaline rush?
To'y chiqib
I mean,
ketmaydi,
I didn't
3-chi
really
o'rinni
care
uchun
about it, you know,
o'ynaydi.
I was just, we just won. I
Adashmasam.
know that there's still a lot of matches to
Yo'q,
go.
3-chi o'rin uchun o'ynamaydi. 3-chi o'rin
Absolutely,
uchun.
because your next match up
Da,
ahead is
3-chi o'rin uchun o'ynaydi.
going to be very interesting one. I think it's a little bit of a rematch.
ketgan
But
komanda,
before I
ikkita
ask you
komanda
about that,
3-chi
we're
o'rin uchun
surprised that
o'ynaydi.
Onyx beat Aurora.
Kecha o'yinni komment qildi, ko'rdingmi?
I'd
Da,
say
deb
50-50.
o'yinni ko'rganman.
Their matchup.
Emetda revanshini olarmikan o'yinni aydi.
Fighter Goatling twice, lost against it.
Uni Emetda
I
revansh
mean, if
desam
they do
bo'lmaydi.
that
Undan oldin
mistake
Team
against
Spirit
us, they're
o'ynab
gonna lose
ketgandi
this one,
MSCda.
you know? But I think they're
Uni
gonna lose
nimani
either way, so.
Team Spiritni qo'rlab
Okay,
tashlagan.
so is that the takeaway that you saw from yesterday's match that you're going to bring to this
U
match?
unda
I mean, I
Team
just don't know
Spirit
how you can
revansh
give
qilgan,
Freya,
tipa.
Paquito and Barretts at the same time.
Asosini olgan. Endi hozir
Okay.
o'zaro
I think a
tenglik.
lot of people are talking about that as well, the drafting. But so
Falcon
you're
yutadi deb
confident
o'yladim
up
lekin.
against
Men
Onyx
Falcon deb o'yladim, lekin Yangon Galacticos
100%
kuchli bo'lib chiqdi.
We're the underdogs coming into this match. It's
To'rtta
obvious.
komanda qolib
Even if I
unda.
speak big, even if I
Da,
speak big,
to'rtta ham emas
everybody
dajib.
knows we are the underdogs.
Ayo,
We're
da,
facing
to'rtta komanda
the
qoldi, to'g'ri.
biggest team in
Hozir kim bilan
Indonesia.
o'ynaydi? Team Spirit bilan o'ynaydi hozir.
And everybody want to see us lose. There's just some people that want to see us win. We love it, and we're gonna try our best.
How does that make you feel?
Makes you feel amazing.
Oh, okay.
Nima deb o'ylaysiz?
Amazing. I mean,
Men
so
o'ziga
why should
syujetni
make it
rejim
bad?
qo'ysa
For me, it's
yaxshimi
just-
yomonmi?
I came to play Scrim at 2 p.m. against Onyx. For me,
Yo'q,
it's really
syujetni
nothing
qo'ysa
different.
naоборот
Here's
yaxshi,
its
voy
great
kayf bo'ladi,
surprises, I
ishoninglar.
think,
Syujetni
on
qo'ysa
that
вообще
side.
kayf
Well,
bo'ladi.
But going back to
Takoimni
your
3D
past,
tushirib,
right?
geroylar
You were able to beat Onyx
razgovorlari,
at
missiyalar,
M7.
вообще
Best of
imba
one,
bo'ladi.
though. Do you think it's going to be different now? It's a best of
Dota'da
five.
ham bor syujetni rejim.
Obviously, it's gonna be
Xuddi shunaqa
different.
qilish
I mean,
kerak.
now they have Keller as well, and for me, it's fate. You know,
Ooh.
12
that
kuchli,
I get to
12
meet him
5.
again. That we get
Hozir
to meet
12
him
kuchli.
again after the last match.
Qayerga fanni
And
berishmadi, umuman
the last
realni zo'r
match
o'ynaydi lekin. Endi u bitta fanniga bog'lanib
between
qolish
us
kerak
and
emas.
Onyx
Yana
Philippines,
finalmi? Ha.
when Keller played, was like the best match in the whole
Zo'r
tournament,
raisi shekilli, ya.
not considering maybe the grand finals.
Raisi?
So I think it's gonna be like that again.
A fated match. I like how you put it. But I'm going to let you go after this. I think you want to prepare for this upcoming battle. Is there anything else you want to add before your match?
Not really.
Not really. Okay, we're just going straight into the land of Dawn here. Thank you so much, Kid Bomba, for this interview. And of course, good luck for your next
Thank you.
match. One step away from the grand finals. We're going to throw it over back to you guys.
Straight like an arrow there, Kid Bomba just shooting from the hip, knows exactly what he wants to do and that they are the underdog.
O, bratni, bu yerda вообще 0 emotsiya ekanligim bor, bratni. Trener bo'lgansa qaysi geroylarni qo'yardi 12 просто pick.
Indonesia winners, but now it is up to
Hozirgi holatiga tak. Leski Hirara bo'ladi по-любому. ADK liniyaga bo'lsa, pikka qarab bo'ladi. Moskov, Xarid, или Cloud ham bo'lishi mumkin. Brozi, Turk, shuta ADKdan bittasi bo'ladi. Granger ham bo'lib qolishi mumkin. XP ga deydigan bo'lsa,
Best of 5
XP ga
match.
aytaymi?
Kelra, you were
Pagito,
so
Chu,
expressive yesterday
Lapu,
up against
Lapu.
Aurora. I think after game 1, game
Kim bor
3,
yana?
we saw you very full of
Ya bo'ldi,
emotion
mana shu
on
to'rlasidan
the
bittasi
stage and
bo'ladi.
even backstage. What was going through your head at the time?
Midga bo'lsa, Edora bo'lishi mumkin. Pikka qarab,
My mindset yesterday just I want to win and I don't want to
Vexana ham bo'lishi mumkin. Vexana qiyin u. Valentina ham bo'lishi
gua
mumkin.
mau pulang
No, leski lekin Hirara aniq. Hirara
They
ililing.
want to go home without the trophy.
Yeah.
Why was
Bitta
it
grand
so
finalchi aniq
expressive in
ekan
that
unda.
match?
Da,
Was
bitta
Aurora really good?
Yangon
Were
Galacticos
you scared
finalda.
that they might be able to beat you yesterday?
Qayriga ham Hirara bilan
Scared,
Fannyni
but,
berishmasa kerak finalda.
Aurora playstyle is
Oh,
very different in
Hirara bilan
other teams.
Fanny bo'lmasa anaqa,
He
bor
very
ling
aggressive
bo'lmasa,
and
Hayabusa bor,
I think
Hayabusa
the
bo'lmasa,
chemistry is
Lance
very
bor,
good
bro.
and
Pick ko'p.
yeah.
XP ga aytgancha
So the
Barts ham
chemistry was
bo'lishi
really
mumkin.
good. Their playstyle was aggressive and
Pakito bilan
you
ham
expected that though, right,
Aurora
coming
yaxshi
into that
qiynab
match?
qo'ydi lekin 12ni.
Expecting what?
Expecting that.
Yo,
playstyle
Aurora
from
kuchli
Aurora?
edi.
Okay.
Aurora ham
Finally
kuchli edi.
there, you get the
O'ynashi yaxshi
emotions,
edi,
adrenaline
qarasanglar.
is running high.
12
Thank you for
esa
that insight, Kelra.
Tilt va solo.
And community
Конечно.
after the
Aniroq
match
12
against Aurora
solo va
are
tilt
saying
bo'ladi.
that
Chunki Team
when
Spiritga
you're
valid
on
qilyapti.
a marksman,
Lekin
it
stringga
seems
avval
like you have
assalom.
better impact in the
Alaykum
game.
assalom,
You're
bachchirga
smiling
bir
right
nima
now.
gap? Yaxshi
What do you feel
rahmat,
about that?
charchashlar yo'q.
I don't
Lamorchi.
know, but
Ya, Lamorchi unaqa emas. Gvinevra
when
bo'lishi
you're
mumkin.
using
Team
fighter,
Spirit
it's
Auroradan
always like
yutqizdimi?
that, like it's a disaster or
Yo'q,
I
Team
don't
Spirit
know.
o'ynamadim. Aurora bilan.
Why are you more comfortable on the marksman? Or?
Yeah, of course.
You're more comfortable in the marksman. But you think that you can make outplays on the fighter too, right?
Yes, because I'm an explainer before.
Okay.
Before I play gold lane.
So you have had experience in the EXP lane, so you're supposed to be comfortable.
Hammalarni o'yna oladi, просто ADK liniyaga chiqayotganda ADK geroyi baribir gidniroq bo'ladi, chem bayetsdan ko'ra. Juda yomon ko'raman mana shu ADK liniyaga bayets ko'tarib chiqishni. Men bo'lganda mana shu bayetsga chiqayotganlarda ADK liniyaga chiqayotgan bayetslarni farmini kesib qo'yardim.
Is that just your reaction speed, or were you able to read Pagu?
Because I think
Else
I have
suyo
a drill
chileski.
every scream that I want to dodge all
Else suyo.
skills of my enemy.
Endi ular
I can dodge.
aytayapman men. Hirari, Ling,
So it was
Fanny
specific.
bo'lmagan holatida mana shu
Were you
qolgan qaya
expecting,
bo'lsa, else
Pagu
suyo,
to play
puyo
that way
hammasi
as
bo'lishi
well,
mumkin.
or was it just Belleric?
Qayeri kim bilan o'ynaysiz degan Aurora deganda
Okay,
shuning uchun
okay, so
qo'yib berdim.
specific to the heroes.
Yo,
That's really
oxirida
amazing stuff
Auroraga
as well.
o'zining
I think
12
everyone
qolib
was
ketdi
quite
oxirida.
surprised with that. And of
Gero
course,
komandalar
in terms of
tanlashganida hamma komanda birinchi yutgan komandasini tanlab turib, oxirida Auroraga 12 qolib ketdi.
Now that you're in the roster, Kelra, are you going to be the difference maker?
Hozir bilamiz.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. That's it.
That's it. Yes, that's it.
Yes.
We're feeling the energy from Kelra. We're feeling the confidence as well from Kelra. And with that, thank you so much. Good luck for your next match, because we're going to throw it over back to you guys.
Vallahi hozir boshlanadi.
Yes.
Akalar ozgina gapiradi, keyin boshlanadi. Unda baribir qayerda ikkigan nimaga ham ozgina quyib qo'yuvdi anaqaga. Kelraga. Auroraning o'yinchisi. Kelra aytdi, men revenge olaman dedi, sen group stage'da ham revenge olaman deb gapirding. Gapirgansan deb turib prikol qiluvdi. Kelrani ham yonib qoluvdi. Kelra ham revenge'ni oldi.
But we also heard from Kelra about how he's been having these drills during
Kecha
sprints.
Tesla Vasmosni o'yinini Morganni ko'rib qoldim, baqirib baylab ketib qoldi. Streamda ko'rdik-ku o'zimiz ham. Morganni. Asos olibdi-da, unda baribir qayraydi. Avrora qattiq qiynadi lekin o'ynaydi. Qachon boshlanadi? Hozir boshlanadi mana o'zi. 12 o'yini ketmadimi yo hali kech qolmadimi? Yo'q, endi boshlanadi. Narigi o'yin cho'zilib ketdi-da, 2-2 bo'lib 5 ta o'yin bo'ldi-da. Falcon bilan oldi meniki. Yangi galaktikos. Kelra qasosda qattiq oldi-da, Belirikni ultini 3 marta to'ch qilgani вообще imma chiqib turdi. Da, lekin shularni men ko'rmadim hali. Men faqat oxirgi o'yinni ko'rdim, 5-o'yinni ko'rdim. Bularni ko'rganim yo'q.
Kick out Indonesia. The giants have fallen. Will the
Onyx da, siz kimga va'da qilasiz? Men 12.
or will Kiboy?
Uchta pobedagacha bo'ladimi da? Uchta pobedagacha.
Show us exactly what that gold standard is and overcome the deficits after a brutal game 5, making it out alive. Anything is possible, and for the hope inside, the Lenovo Legion Gauntlet, the family.
Ya, ozmagan. Ashash.
Still rooting, still
Temizligicha qolgan.
that this could be the day. EECA.
Fanatik qilasiz ekan. 12.
And you want to talk about breaking the mold? This is MSC. It has never happened this way. That it's ever been so international.
Bomba игровой креслоga sig'adimi o'zi?
Zarg'a
Zarg'a qilsa kerak.
This time around, everybody.
Ya, lekin u studio o'tirayotganingizda ko'tingiz hajmi bo'ladi. Qorningiz hajmi emas, qorningiz hajmi va tepaga chiqarib olsangiz bo'ladi. Uning bilan Aurorani o'yinini ko'rdingmi? Kellarni mana qo'shadi. Yo'q, men faqat oxirgi o'yinni ko'rdim, 5-o'yinni. Kellar asosan qaysi liniyada o'ynaydi? Kellar ADKda o'ynaydi.
No matter what happens in the semi-finals matchup, history will be made. Will EECA finally send their first ever representative to the grand finals, or will Onyx
Belirikni
get a
ancha
chance
kuchaytirib qo'yibdi
at
da.
their third trophy?
Spets kreslo zakaz qiladi.
MLBB history, and we get to do it all over again. So please join me in welcoming our first semi-finalist in this.
Alaykum assalom, Alisher, nima gap?
Please say hi to Team Spirit.
Team Spirit chiqyapti ana. Team Spirit.
The last non-SEA team.
Astiltlar chiqadi mana shu yerda deb qo'yayim.
MSC 26. The flag bearers of EECA have left.
Ham kuchli aka, da, Team Spirit kuchli. Team Spirit ham kuchli. Ancha o'sgan Team Spirit.
Are they ready for a regional juggernaut?
Ammo Lesniki kuchli ekan, Zaura ashi kuchli ekan. Anaqa Kairiga raqib bo'la olmaydi lekin. Yangi bilan Falcon ketdi. Da. Uninga qarshi Lukas olib, anaqa o'yinni ko'rganim yo'q. Bitta kuchlisi kim? Menimcha Zavra. O, ana bizni bolalar chiqyapti. Davay o'ynak. Onyx time.
The Sky Kings are closer than
Davay.
ever to clinch their third trophy. The heat has intensified. The pressure is higher.
Davay
Can they
Onyx.
beat the odds as the former champion
Spiritning
standing?
bayrog'ini
Can
o'tirib
they
ketdi. Da.
etch their legacy as
Menga
the
bilan Falcon
best
qiziq ketdi. Bildim.
organization in
Seni
Mobile
Zavramni
Legends
eshitib. Yo, Avror
Only
arvog'i.
time will
Chap
tell.
tarafda turuvdi bu yerda.
It's a game for the ages. I have a feeling. I have
Come
it in my
on,
heart,
Onyx.
in my mind.
Hozir mana Zavrani
Can't
aytmaslar
wait to get
ekan.
this one on.
So of course, boys,
No, Sunset
please
Lover.
raise your
Ona
keys
Zavra
and
mana
take
sara
your
sochli.
seats.
Mana uni ismini
And of
bilib
course,
olmaydi. Mana bu
captains,
Hiko. Nariga
don't
Kid
forget to
Bomba.
meet in the middle for a little bit of a handshake.
Onyx. Legenda Kairi bilan yangi Zavr ko'ramiz kim zo'r ekan. Da, hozir bilamiz. Davay.
This is a match to
O'yin
watch.
tugaganda shu
And I
ko'tarib chiqqan narsasini
suggest
sindirib
you
berarkan
guys
qo'liga.
better hold
Ya, qo'liga emas,
on
past
tight, 'cause I am
sindirishadi.
sure this is about to be a roller coaster.
Hayajon
Of
tiltratni ham
course,
ko'ramizmi?
to kickstart our
Ko'rib qolsak
match,
kerak tiltladi ham.
head on over to the land
Ava
bar.
CW bilan coach Jep anavi. Yo, adimi ekan. Jep deyiladi.
Revenge is served. Team Spirit will go on to the semifinals.
Everybody underestimated us, not only Ramos.
Despite the grueling climb through groups.
Tashana qilmasa-da Kid Bomba bor.
1,000,000% sure that we
Mana bu
can
turnir.
beat them.
Men sindiradi. Tipa yutkizdi deganday qilib.
Indonesia as they douse out the lights of Aurora Gaming.
Bu narsa nima? Bilmayman. Bu Indoneziyada bo'lyaptimi? Yo'q, Fransiyada bu. Tiltlar hozir Fransiyada. Ha, Fransiya ham zo'r shahar. Zo'r davlat. Coach Gold Star ekan bu. 12 qilsa mashinaga chiqib ketsa kerak. Da.
Nest 3-0 taken.
Kelasiga ham bayrat qilaman kuchli.
Didn't have a really
Ha,
good
qilmayman
start
deyapsiz.
this tournament, but
Chestni
we
sindiradi
really
test.
got
Chestni
Group
sindiradi
stage
test.
was pretty bumpy. Some disagreements about
Like bosamiz bolalar.
some things.
25 ta like o'tdi. Bo'l, davay, bosamiz bolalar.
we need to adapt, and then we adapted.
Kalau dari tim Spirit gue belum merhatiin sih, soalnya gue baru melawan karena gue fokus banget di Aurora.
I think Onyx was one of the weaker teams coming into the tournament. To me, it's obvious that we are better than them.
Turnir
And we just
maka,
have to
da,
play the game.
ularni
They're really
nesiga.
a struggling team right now. They
Anu
really
katta
have
bo'lami?
a
Yo'q,
good idea.
oranjoviy sochli turadi-yu.
Good to hear that
Asha
they're
Zavra.
confident because
Ashilestika
we're
Zavra.
confident as well.
Tilpich hali chiqmagan. Tilpich chiqib ketib bo'lgan turnirdan. Yutkizib qo'ydi-yu. Ikki marta ketma-ket yutkizib chiqib ketdi. Alaykum assalom Itachi. Temiz qaysini edi? XP-da. Qayri kuchli. Yo, rahmat Itachi. Tilpich ketdi 0 ochkoda.
Balas dendam, kalau buat tim Spirit yang pasti kita bakalan press early lah mungkin.
Onyx group stage'da anaqa yutkizib, nima edi? Auroraga yutkizib, play-offda Aurorani yutib kelgan.
Mereka udah mulai kacap lah, kayak udah mulai ngejar
Bu
banget.
one shotmi shunda? One shot yo'q edi. One shot chiqib ketgan Team Spiritdan. Ash one shot ida leslik oldi. One shot ham yaxshi igrok edi, lekin Zavra kuchliroq ko'rinyapti. Onyxni coach CW emasligi. Asha coach ham bor-da. Ikkita trenerda. Uchta trener bo'lishi kerak. Uchta trener bor.
Just be ready.
Bitta komandani aytib o'ring. To'rtta emas, bitta komanda bor. U ham hozir Yangon Galacticos. Hozir endi ana bo'ladi ikkinchi finalchi. Finalda ikkinchi komanda bo'ladi, to'rtta emas. Paskitga devam
Liquid
bo'lmaydi.
PH, the Philippines, another Philippine team is knocked out, but those two
Onyx
champions
darajasidagi
were
komandalar
2
qaysi?
of 3 of MSC.
Mana shu etapgacha
last 2
kelgan
years.
hamma
It was
komanda,
Onyx
bro.
who was the one right before. If they get back to the grand finals, they have a chance to repeat in that third year again. And the reason I say repeat is because they also won in
Kecha o'yinda
2019.
Zavr
So
o'zini zo'r
it seems
ko'rsatdi.
like
Da,
this, so
da,
every
Zavr
3 years,
yetaladi-yu
goes
Team
on
Spirit
these
Zavr.
runs, but they're standing.
Davay,
Standing
boshlandi.
in the way is a team who's trying to make their very first run in Team Spirit.
They've got a big dragon in front of them and a team that really does dig into the spirit, right? Team Spirit, they have
Like va so'ramiz,
not only
uchinchi o'yinga o'yin
shown their
bo'ladimi?
confidence, but just on how quick they
Hozir
can
finalga
adjust,
o'yin
and
bo'ladi
they've
bolalar.
already
Gapimni
shared
yaxshilab
sentiments
eshitinglar.
about how,
Finalga o'yin
they
bo'lyapti
felt like
hozir.
Onyx was one of the
Finalga
weaker teams
kim
coming
yutsa
into
finalga
this, especially
chiqadi.
group stage. I think this MSC in
Yo'lda
general
savage
threw
qilgani
everyone's
esimda
predictions
turadi.
out of the window
Uni hamma
pretty much
ko'rgan.
on how things have
Onyxga
played out. But
Stanford
one
o'tsa
thing's for
immobilar
sure,
aka.
yesterday I think again when you look at
Nima bo'ladi lekin
Kyrie
Lutfi ham
did
yaxshida.
everything, what Keller was
Senford
able to do on the
o'tsin joyini
marksman,
o'tkazdi. Lutfi ham
Hell
yaxshi
with Signs,
X-Boy.
Lutfi, and even Keyboy
To'g'ri,
came
Senford
to set
darajasida
them up for
qilmas,
that
lekin
success in winning that series
yaxshi
against
ancha.
Aurora Gaming. You have to take that in consideration now if your team's
Yalla
spirit,
12
because
yaxshi ekan
everyone has adapted up to this point and everyone is just catching up to all these powerhouse teams.
And honestly, like I feel like Kid Bomba
Doesn't
really
matter
understood
for-
how to take down Onyx, and that's you got to take down
Ha,
Kid because
Team Spirit'nikini ham ko'ramizmi?
no matter how
Ana
the
tilt.
map looks,
Tilt.
Keller
Ovoz
just
bering,
has a
tilt.
different vision of how the gold lane is supposed to be.
Tilt.
So
Biladi, men
even
Team
if
Spirit
it's up here
muxlislarni
where, like,
ko'rsatmayapti.
there's not a lot of mobility here. You're probably going to get
Faqat
caught.
12-ni ko'rsatyapti, bilyapsan? Team Spirit
He still
ko'rsatmayapti.
doesn't get caught. And here's the thing. As long as Keller keeps playing the way that he plays, he
Draft
can defy
start.
expectations. He can say, be done with the draft. As long as I got my hero, I'm good.
Defying timelines and expectations and even tempo.
Tak, Zaps'ni yoqib qo'yaman, Zaps'ni yoqib qo'yaman bo'ldi. Tak, Uranus bilan Team Spirit'dan Uranusga ban berilgan, 12 dan bo'lsa Marcel bilan Selena ban. Ajoyib. Hamma joyda 12 fans juda ko'p kelgan ekan. 12 muxlis ko'p, 12 mediasi kuchli. 12 muxlis esa TL5 dan ham ko'proq. Umuman, Mobile Legends'da 12 ga teng keladigan anaqa yo'q, muxlisi. Menimcha Geekfam to'g'riroq kelsa kerak menimcha.
So the key is, does Team Spirit try to attack Kelra immediately to put him on the back foot?
Hozir Filippin ham
Just around
12 anaqa qilyapti-da. Nima o'ylab qarasa muxlislik qilyapti.
Playing against him and
Preya ban qilyapti Team
spend
Spirit.
too much worrying about Kelra because Kelra is just going to be. He does what Kelra does. He's a god in the gold lane for a reason. I think yesterday was proof of that. His godlike reflexes, and now we know why. He has
Hammasi
those
mana shu yerga
reflexes.
chiqqan komandalarda
Something
hammasi
that
kuchli.
You just have to match. So that is going to be on the hands and shoulders of Hiko to be able to go ahead and match
Rosa
what
kimdir
Kelra is
yutadi,
doing.
kimdir yutadi. Doim Selena ban. Chunki Selena info ishlashga juda zo'r.
There's so many other avenues that
Team
you
Boyle
can
Sunset
focus
Flower
on
yaxshi o'ynaydi.
depending on what's drafted. We've seen
Nimada?
a lot of
Selena'da.
variations, a lot of experimentation, but even the last series
Mikrofon
we saw some
halaq
teams just choose to
Kid Bomani yapti.
default on their
Partisga
strengths,
ban
default
bo'lyapti
on a
12 dan,
standard
yaxshi.
lineup, and just try to execute better. And
Bereksizlar yo'q,
either
to'g'ri.
way, again, you got hopefully five games to go ahead and prove that here.
And honestly, I wonder how that conversation that Kelra
Ya, bu xato 3-0 bo'lishi ichcha xato
I'm
lekin.
going to use a Layla. Could all five of you
O'zi ham
try to
ishonmayapti,
catch me?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, you only got one flicker, you know, but when you start taking in the
Team Spirit
defensive
ban qiladi hozir.
again, there's so many ways to just kind of stay alive, you know, and that's what makes the mechanically
Ular
gifted
chiqib
players
ketgan,
so
ular chiqib
outstanding.
ketganlar
And
solishtirib
that's how
bo'lmaydi
they can
bir-birini.
win
Beshta
drafts,
o'yin
even
bo'ladimi
when the
bu o'yinda?
draft is even or maybe slightly the
Bilib
other
bo'lmaydi,
way,
kim 3 yutsa
because you
bo'ldi.
can't account for that
U
individual
Fannyga ban
skill.
qilinyapti,
Try.
yaxshi. Fanny ban.
But that's what
Kirari
these
first
coaches
pick
are trying to
olinyapti,
put their
yaxshi.
teams
Bu 12 uchun
in an
yaxshi.
advantage
First
position
pickga
early.
Kirari, kachsa tushib
The
ketdi.
Fanny, the Freya, and the Uranus
Bilmayman
taking
nimaga.
out the Barats, the Marcel, and the Selena, the six
Bo'lyapti
bands
lekin
to kick us
Selena'sdan
off
bir umr
as phase one begins with
noqilaysdan
the picks, and Onyx pick up Ferrara to start.
And we can see the idea
Menimcha
behind the
qarab
bans
olmadim,
coming in
biroq
from Onyx as well as
3
Spirit.
0
For
ko'rgan.
Onyx, they wanna take out
Scenariy
the
megaladi.
heroes, both the Marcel
Hop,
as well as
kim
Selena to
ko'ramiz?
really speed up the game, and then for Spirit, they just don't want
Spirit
Kanye on
dan
that Fanny,
kimlarni
which is
oladi?
understandable. The Freya can disrupt their backlines a little bit too
Barsi
much.
kuchayganmi,
And
menga
then
shunaqa
the
tuyuldi,
similarity,
men ko'rdim.
batting out the Barats
Balkim
as well as the
Secretni
Uranus, they just
buffing
wanna
ham
make
bo'lishi
sure
mumkin.
that whatever the matchup is going to be in the EXP, it's not an auto win for either side.
Yeah, the XP again, going to be
Pakit olinyapti. Vaqtli solinyapti. Yaxshi, bitta metani o'rniga ikkita meta olishdi. Bitta metani berishdi, ikkita metani olishdi.
The upper hands that you have when you do draft in this Paquito, you don't necessarily know where he's going just yet. Obviously, the Atlas going to be an answer a lot of times, and then the trade is Belric. This has been
Yo,
the
ikkita tashqari
common
chiqishdi, manda
trades
muxlisman.
that we've seen now.
Belirik
over the
olinyapti.
tournament,
Yaxshi,
MSC's
yaxshi.
meta, and this is pretty
12 dan
standard. Again, that's
Belirik
why having a
olinyapti.
flexible hero like
Va
Paquito
Justin
is
bekor
not
bo'ldi
bad.
deb
You know, you kind
o'ylayman.
of have that advantage now.
What was interesting is that in the first series, we didn't see Paquito picked or banned. We also didn't see
E'dor olsa
chosen.
kerak menimcha mitga.
We didn't see a lot of these kind of in-your-face,
Ili
really
bo'lsam,
ISO, burst, control characters that have been
Valentina
dominant in some
bo'lishi
of these
mumkin.
matchups featured there. So again, maybe a preview to the grand final. That might be just a non-contention point, and we'll see who has the
Har
better
bitta
grasp.
liniyada Lesda
And we saw in the
savolsiz
meeting
bu
before
Karl
where
Tizzi
Team Spirit,
bo'ladi.
they did say Onyx's biggest strength is probably their team fighting, and right now they're
Nimaga
trying to
desanglar, endi bu
really
narsani
good
Kayrid
team
o'zi ham
fight
tan
on
olgan.
here. Having the Bellic as well as
Statistikalarga
the
o'shalar ham
Shane
Karl
makes
Tizzi
it so that they have
yaxshiroq.
amazing control from the get-go.
Dagi liniyada Killera,
Harley is just good anywhere.
XP'da
And right now,
anaqa
I gotta say, this is a
Stanford.
good Harley pick.
Harley
Because
Lesga
you know that
olinyapti.
Onyx,
Yaxshi,
whatever
yaxshi
gold
paket
laner they're
XP
gonna
ga.
pick up
Ili
is
gold
gonna be
lane'ga.
amazing just because they already have
Runga men Keyboyda qo'yardim.
doesn't
Runga.
matter if it's a Brody, a Claw,
Midga bo'lsa
or
Sans,
all three
midga
can work
Sans.
well here.
This is, you know, shades of what we saw yesterday for Onyx work. That
Sanji yoki Sanji bo'ladi
helped
demakki.
so much, and if I recall correctly, it was a Granger in the hands of Kelra that he got to use because again, when he locked in the Sky Piercer, you not only had to worry about the movements from Kyrie on the Hirara, but then eventually when the stacks
Yo,
start
bitta
building
nimani yilni bilaman
from
xolos
the
Kyrie'ni
Granger,
2005ligini bilaman.
lining it up with the
Xarid ban
that
qilinyapti Team
Juice
Spiritdan.
provides,
Yaxshi.
it helps so much.
Adaklini
You just land your
yopilyapti.
Rhapsody shots, and
Isminni
then you get more stacks, and that was
ekan. Shunaqa
kind of like the
Marselga
result
har doim
of
ban
that game
beriladi.
that they
Chunki
did against
slishkim
Aurora.
darajada
So this is what
yoqimsiz kontrollari bor.
really supported and supplemented really well
Reaksiya
for your
berayotgan
goal lane
vaqtingiz
for
to'xtatib qo'yadi-da, shu xalaqit qiladi
Band
keyin.
as well. You could see with both teams now looking to pick
Misol
up.
aytaylik, siz komandaning o'rtasiga chiqib belirlikda flik quitda qilmoqchisiz. Shunda bitta o'rtaga Marsel qatirib qo'yadi.
It is definitely going to
Trupkezdan
be
o'sha qochishga reaksiya berishga uslub
EXP
qilishadi.
and gold that they're looking for the band. So Esmeralda goes down.
Bunga light qo'ymaysizmi? Endi u light bitta nimada o'ynagani yoqqan menga. Menda Grokda o'ynagani yoqqan, lekin Kiboy juda ko'p Geroyda yaxshi
looking to see if Spirit is going to be loco enough just to have a big burst in mid.
Kaldoy paketda bo'lishi mumkin.
Because that can deal with
Adi
quite a lot
kliniga olingan
unless
bo'lishi
you're
mumkin.
going up against a Claude, which Team Spirit
Organ
could pick up the Claude
ko'rmadim
later
lekin.
on and then make it so that Onyx
Degandan
doesn't
keyin
have
chatga
a
qaramay
dive
reaksiya
type
qilmang.
of goal laner other than a Moscow.
Biz o'yin boshlanib chatga qaramaymi?
if you're local enough, basically.
If you're loco,
Clint ban qilyapti, ajoyib Clint bandi.
I think you can.
You can be a little
You can
loco
be a
in
little
game.
Hayronman, Clint
What do
bandi.
you like mid here?
Esmeralda ban
For
qilingan
Spirit
12dan.
against Jushin. Man, I don't know.
Aurora
Again, there's
Gaming was
just,
heavy on Eudora. I mean, is it
Yeah.
time to
Clint
travel? You're
ban.
kind of being
Va Valentina ban qilyapti aytganimda.
it's
Valentina
interesting 'cause a
olishi
lot of times we see
mumkin
the
edi.
Eudora even paired up with the Belric, right? But in this case,
Esmani
if
qaysi
they
liniyaga olgan
decide to
yaxshi,
go ahead
X-ga
and
olasiz.
grab it, they
Clint
can.
nega?
I think it
Bilmadim
is
lekin
one of the
sababini
better
nimaga.
heroes too for Sunset Lover, at least from what we've seen him over the past few days.
Qaysi
It
Geroy
can
qiynaladi
also
Clintga?
help,
Bet hech
I
kim
guess,
qiynalmas edi Clintga.
combo with
Nabrot
Harley
Clint
in a
bo'lsa
way, and
yaxshi
Harley's work so
o'tibdi.
well just because
Hozir bu
you
piki
don't
keldi,
rely
go'sh
on
oladi.
that, deadly magics, but then depending on the build that they
CS
go,
fan hech
you know,
ko'rsatmadi
whoever's
qizni.
able
Shunga
to
hayron bo'lyapman,
choose
Team
one
Spiritni
does
fanini
help kind of
ko'rsatmayapti.
get that burst a little bit faster once you shred down some of the magic resistance here of the opposing
Uning
team. So
qizlarini ko'rsatib
there is
meni
a
ko'rsatyapti
room, I would say there is room
Ko'pradagi
for the
o'yinlarga
Eudora to come
mazza
through.
qilganman
Especially since
Kiboyni.
now we've seen so much of the Selena, the Valentina,
Oldingi
obviously
o'yinda
they're
Clint
banned
o'ynadi.
out. So yeah,
So
there's the
Eudora
Eudora
pick
comp right
qilinyapti.
now.
Thanks, buddy. Valentina banned out, Clint as well. We're going deeper into the gold lane, but the bans are done for all of these squads. So, how does Kelra respond?
Ha do'stlar,
Will
shunaqa
they
kunlar
like
keldi. Eudora pick qilinadigan, ban
I mean, like,
qilinadigan.
here's the thing. Because of that Paquito, it does make it a little bit
Alaykum assalom,
awkward, I would
Asadbek.
say, for Onyx to draft their side leaders here because I think for sure they just want a gold lane. I feel like Claude is going to be pretty solid, but if they want to be safe, I can see a
Akbar so'ramiz bola, 46 ta bo'pti.
You just got to be careful of the Eudora. You have to hope that Lupe is able to absorb the Thunder's Wrath first, and then Keroy can go in.
Ha, mana
Speaking
Team
of,
Spiritni
what
muxlislari
other tank
endi.
heroes do we have left? They pick up the Cho.
Chu, Kiboydan chu ko'ramiz, Kelradan bo'lsa Cloud.
Well, yeah, that's a good question. Just because again, Belric can be flexed too. So
Because I feel like if you're going up against
Morgan
Paquito,
chiqdi, Morgan.
Paquito is going to be
Morganni
pretty
ko'rmadim.
fast. I think it's better to match speed for speed with the Cho.
Yaxshi
but
rahmat, Vaydlo Solo.
that's, we haven't seen
Cloud
Cho
qozonadi
speed.
akademiyada. Murabbiyi,
years now.
it's been a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Ashi kelgan CW. Mana mana shu ikkita turganlar.
Again, Hiko could go crazy and play Paquito there, and we could see a marksman, but
Yo, Adikelida aniq bitta meta yo'q.
EXP, yeah, this would tell us too, because they wanted to wait and hold on to see where they plant this Paquito, if he's actually going to go in the gold lane for Hiko, or if they're going to go ahead and pick
Muxlislari
up
3 marta
their
ko'rsatib,
XP
sizlarga
now.
tilt chiqmasa hisoblansa ekan.
Because
Da,
that
bizga tilt
function
chiqishi
still
kerak,
goes. Go
tilt
Sora,
chiqishi
so now
kerak.
we know. Sora's gonna go
Sora
XP,
o'ynayapti, yaxshi.
gold, of
Adikelida
course.
aniq ekan, Paquito ekan.
And then we have
Pico
gold lane
Paquitoda
Paquito.
o'ynaydi. Yo'q, Sorada.
I feel like this is a good idea coming in from
Sora
Spirit,
chiqar ekan
but we've seen
Adikelinaga.
teams try and fail, which is try to end the game pretty fast, and they do have the Harley, so in case
Cloud
you know,
hamasini
they
qiynaydi.
need
Xaridda
to
qiynalmaydi,
push,
biroq.
you can still use the Harley there.
Xaridda Leslida qiynalmaydi.
I'm liking both drafts,
Yeah.
but I really feel
Qaysiga
like Onyx,
fanatsiz?
they
12
got
12.
everything they wanted.
Ayo, almashtirishdi,
Dangerous
bo'ldi.
drafts.
Adikelina
Fire in the
Paquito.
gold lane for Hiko, going up against the gold standard in Kelra. Eudora picked up as well, and the Bellerin.
Yo, o'zgarib qolibdi, qaranglar, ko'rdinglarmi? O'ng tarafda Kyrie Kellerlar turibdi, chap tarafda Hikolar
It's gonna
turibdi.
be a
Almashib
battle,
qolibdi.
baby, and I know two guys
Geroylar
ready
almashib
to
qo'ygan.
cast. One's already been streaming and casting earlier. It's Spirko
Odam
and
asasi
Gideon.
olar. Okey, vallahi endi chatga ozgina qaramayman. Xafa bo'lish yo'q. O'yin boshlandi. Davay Onyx.
Spirit, and once again these teams, they know so much about each other. I mean, seeing the Paquito
Tak.
show up once again, but Hirara being given over, the trades have been great. They've got that experience.
Ko'ramiz. Nima bo'ladi, nima?
Teams having to deal with some rough patches in the group stages to make it this far as well. Some crazy games.
Zaura Sini buffdan boshlangan Kibo info olyapti. Hirara bo'lsa Sini buffdan boshlangan u ham.
Could be another. Could be the best MSC ever. It already is up there.
I'm already nervous about it, right? Because every single
Kibo
moment,
mitga
every
kelyapti.
single
Kiboga
position
agressiya bo'ladimi
is
yo?
gonna be taken into the count here. You know, we got to put everything
Info oladi,
under
chiqib
that
ketadi, yana
microscope to
kiradi.
see where the big plays could be made. Looking at the emblem so far, things are up to standard picks. A lot more tenacities that I'm seeing.
Ha,
coming from
Lutfi
Suns, as well as
Bilirik
Lutfi
XP ning
understanding, hey, I can't afford to die like this, especially since we've seen so many games
Bilemaladi,
here that
GEROYLAR
has
valla.
end roughly around 11 minutes.
Spin the stomps in the early game, really. If you get
Tak,
that early
KAZO
advantage,
mana
the
bu.
Sky Piercer on Hirara as well.
Tam bo'ldi,
There was a pattern that we saw in the last few matches, even yesterday for Aurora Onyx, that whoever gets the Hirara seems to have an advantage unless there's a Fanny on the other side.
Yeah, and that's the scary part, right? This early phase so far, we're already seeing
Tak,
immediate
Sans,
attack on
Hirara.
Sans. And this setup here, at level 2, at level 4 for Kyrie, they don't find
Jonli ketkizishga o'ynaydi. Bu juda ham muhim lekin Jonli ketkizish. Abi Cherepaqada foydaga ishlashi
We'll see whether or not they give it up. They're most likely going to give it up considering the Team Spirit already running double fighters and Hiko already making his way to proxy the wave.
He's got to be careful though. Needs to
Kyrie keldi.
be very careful.
Go.
Onyx probably knows they can't get this neutral objective. They might be able to go for the trade, especially if
Hozir Cherepaq ursa kerak Zaura da. Zaura uryapti. Zaur egoist, Zaura debman, Zaur egoist ekan. Urib bo'ldi, Edor ultalab berib tashladi. Mayt boshdi, baribir mayt boshga majbur bo'ldi. Asha birinchi Cherepaqqa Team Spiritga berilyapti.
Really good defensive rotation from the side of Onyx, making sure that they're sending Kyrie and Keyboy to the top side of the map, denying the proxy.
Kyrie olmabdi lekin qasada nimaga u qolib ketdi unda.
In his gold lane experience, we know it's just a matter of time until Kelra might make a super play of his own. The real question is, where is first blood going to happen? We've seen Kimbaba rotate from the bot side. Unfortunately, haven't seen too big of a commitment yet.
Lutfi uraman yaptimi? Lutfi uradimi? Lutfi?
He's going to put some pressure.
Yeah.
Wanted to get a flicker at least, but he knows better than to actually use those resources early. He's going to stay patient with it. Kelra up top though. It's so well played by Spirit in the draft though. They ban out the Harrod, the Clint as well. Those are the two heroes that can really deal with the Paquito in lane. And because Team Spirit has red side, oh god, deadly matching. Some more with Sunset Lover as well. But back to the point.
Menimcha prosta takka first spot ochilmaydi. Обязательно qanaqadir Cherepaq yoki bo'lmasam Lord bo'lishi kerak. First spot
That's the thing. That's the thing. Every single time you come into these drafts, there's always that sneak peek on that
Quick
red
stop
side. And so far, I like the way that Team Spirit have handled themselves, right? A slight evolution, not trying to go beyond what they need to do. They're still checking the boxes, and you can tell that Hiko, this side of the map is his, right? Even Keyboy has to be very respectful of him.
Lutfi o'ladi.
Use any of the resources earlier. Rapid trying to be used up.
Yo, trick qoldi Lutfi. Ayo, flick bilan boryapti. Kid bomba yaxshi. Lekin yo'q. Trick qoladi men. Bomba da, chudo o'zi ham o'ladi. Keyboy minus. Yaxshi. Team Spiritda impact bor. 2-0 shot.
Once again, Kibamba catching Onyx off guard. Wasn't expecting him to be so desperate to chase for someone of Lupi's caliber, and not to mention
bilmadim, Bilirikdan ko'ra mobilniroq yaxshimi, lekin ko'pchilik team fightda mobilnikdan yaxshiroq impact chiqadi. Agar to'g'ri ishlatsa, to'g'ri bera olsa skilllarini yaxshi. Nima deydi, prosta tak havoga ketib qolmasa skillllari, nimadan so'radan ko'ra yaxshiroq impact bera oladi.
Perfect match already baited out by Keyboy, just with the G-Kundo. Now Onyx holding control despite his early win. Stuck coming down now.
Baholadimi so'radan kontrol lekin qochib ketdi 12 komandasi. Hozir Atlasdan kirish bo'lishi mumkin va smite bosyapti. Kyrie yaxshi. 12 qochyapti sababi Keyboy'ni umuman joni qolmadi.
Tactical defensive plays, and
yaxshi.
all happening. Kelren just knows, hey,
like so'ramiz bolalar. Kiko olib qo'yadi buni. Paketda uruni baribir kuchliroq, olishga yaxshi.
But just give me 5 more minutes. For the rest of the team, at the very least, we see that from Team Spirit's side, being able to kind of contest these neutral objectives is kind of the point. But at the same time, Lutpi is quite the problem with the Wrath of the Dryad. So taking first position may not necessarily be ideal for TS, especially if the flickers are available. Radiant armor purchase coming in from Kid Bomba. Not to mention penetration boots from Sunset Lover. He's already putting a lot of damage onto Sans. And I like the fact that they're trying to say, you know what? If we can force Sans to use his abilities, and we saw what happened in the previous game with the Sky Piercer, we can't let him get into that position again.
Nope.
Sunset Lover'dan ulti, flick berilyapti Sansdan, ulti berilyapti. Yaxshi, Kairi. Killni joyida olib ketdi. Kairi de Pranzaki qildi. Yaxshi o'ladimi Savo ham? Yo'q, Chuga ultimate beryapti Savo, Cloud ultisi kiryapti. Yaxshi. Killera, Kairi. Yo'q, Killeraga berildi kill. Killeraga berildi. Kairi'ning passivkasi bor edi. Kairi o'ldi. Kairi o'ladi. Yo'q, o'lmadi. Yaxshi. Arlott. Kidbomadagi Geroy kontrol Kiko. Kidbomga minus olib ketishi mumkin bu yerda hozir qochmasa. Kidbomba. Yaxshi, 2-2. Telefarm qalamlaketimiz Spiritda. Yaxshi. Bu Telefarm janoqi katta emas. Yaxshi, Kairi deyarli nevozможный joydan chiqib keldi. Yaxshi.
Especially when you start getting to high stakes games, because this is some life-changing money on the line if they win the series.
Lutfi hozir boradi Paxaga. Kidbomni bir yo'li tozalab borsa kerak Paxa. Yo'q, bir yo'l tozalamadi ham, tegmadi ham. Yaxshi, kech qolardi to'g'ri. Xo'sh, Lutfi Kiboy. Hop, pastdan Kidbomga keldi, tepada Kiko agressiya qilyapti Kiboyga. Hozir Lutfidan ultimate bosiladi, Chini Paxa smite bosilishga yaqin. Kidbomdan ham ultimate bosiladi. Kairi qochishga harakat qilyapti. Kairi qochdi, yaxshi. Clouddan ultimate bosilyapti, Kiko dovchi joni qolmadi. Qisqa ultimate ikkita bitta so'lib ketdi o'zi. Yaxshi Lutfi. Saudi minus qilyapti. Lutfi ham qochish kerak. Yaxshi Kairi. Arrosh. Katta. Bo'ldi, Kiko ham minus. Arrosh. Double kill qilyapti, yaxshi. Tower ketdi lekin Team Spirit bitta tower oldi 12 dan.
And whoever makes that first mistake usually goes down. But let's look at the replay one more time. It was good. Unfortunately for Kelra, he gets locked down by the ball lightning. But in the end, despite missing the
Lutfi
it's such a game changer.
And you gotta give props to Kyrie for playing that fight perfectly, man. Earlier in the start of the fight it was Bomba and Sao. Hey, key boy, feeling it already. That's the vibe you need.
Hop, seni bafiga agressiv bo'lyapti Kiko kerak emas Kiko.
Going in again, it's Kai with the iframes dodging away, but now.
Hop, Kiboga agressiv bo'lyapti. Kibo save qildi Kairi'ni. Qaysidir ma'noda.
That's why it's such a good pick against this Atlas.
And both sides trying to draw the line in the sand, but it keeps getting wiped away, and they keep pushing it forward and pulling it backwards constantly. But now it's about item power spikes. At this stage, let's pull up the items just real quick here. At 8 minutes, where exactly is Kelra currently at? Because he's already two towers, top and bottom side. They can start invading. Ideally, if they can get rid of mid tier 1.
Vay, Kidbombadan info bor.
Coverage from Onyx, they're like, yes, Kelra, invest more. Wait until
tower ketgan, lekin mid ketgan Team Spiritdan. Tepa 12 dan ketgan middan Team Spiritdan. Oh, mana Morgan. Morgan, привет. Morgan, salom. Morgan orqasida tilt o'tiruvdi, tilt ko'rinmay qoldi.
Let's take a look at it. DHS Rush. He's going to go for the Golden Staff next, and it's just a component for Corrosion side. So he wants to be active early.
He does. But on the opposite end, at least we know, with at least 200 gold difference between the gold laners at the very least, just the cost efficiency of the fighters. Already 2 items down.
Lord chiqdi, hozir juda katta fight boshlanadi.
Figure out what's the best angle, because Sans has that purify. I'm thinking whether they can punish Keyboy, but at the same time, Kyrie has been playing it so nicely with those iframes. They've got to figure out something that makes him bite. It can't just be the Lord here. Zara might be able to bait him at the same time.
Kelra qo'ylayapti, yaxshi. Normalniy jonni ketkizdi. Kidbomni ko'rasa, mana joni ketgani uchun ba'ziga ketishga majbur bo'lyapti hozir. Sразу chirpaq urib yuborsa, может Kidbomga kech qolishi mumkin, lekin to'g'ri urmaydi baribir. Urishga qo'ymaydi anarog'i Team Spirit ham.
Has been pushed in by Onyx, so it's just a battle of prio around these lanes.
This is tactical. This is really tactical, and TS, they don't mind dragging this out.
No one saw that ball lightning.
Sunset Lover anaqa double ga berib ikkisini. Hozir Sansga o'ynash mumkin. Sans ultasida qochyapti va hozir Kid Bombaga kontrol berishi mumkin va Savoda chiqib beryapti. Savodan ikkita ultimate bo'lyapti. Kibo qochdi. Kibo qochdi. Ozgina orqaga tortilish kerak, orqaga tortilish kerak ozgina. 12. Kiboy. Fliki bormi? Yo'q, paketda fliki yo'q. Kayrin agressiya bo'lyapti Kid Bombaga. Kerak emas. Killer o'lmasin. Killer o'lsa bo'lmaydi. Savo minus. Savo Kayrin smite bor. Smite, qani kim smite qiladi? Zavrab ketdi. Ajoyib. Ammo bu yaxshi bo'lmadi. Qochish kerak. Kid Bomba o'ynaveradi hozir. Ketish kerak, sotish kerak vaqtni.
That's it. What a crazy
Ana Morgan. Active Morgan.
This is really an RTS. It turned away from a moment to an RTS so quickly in these couple of moments.
Kiboyda joni ko'p ketib qolgan ishkal bo'ldi bu yerda.
Because if not, he would have been blasted there. Kilra had the right idea.
Deyarli foydasi tegmadi bu yerda.
Already used the ball lightning. They were trying to punish him real hard. He still has that flicker, and that's the beauty of it. If he had Purify, okay, sure, I guess he's dead there, but so far things have been pretty hot for Team
Nimaga pauza?
This is going exactly how we were expecting it, right? Double fighter comps generally take the advantage.
Killerada qanaqadir
Later
neto
down the line,
ish
you're
bo'lyapti
expecting that the marksmen are going to be able to not only outplay but have enough damage to output. The scary thing is, with the gold standard, he's really good at chunking out your frontliners and still having that fancy footwork to get out.
Boshlanguncha.
He's been doing that all game now, every single time.
Yo'q, demak Street Fighter'da o'ynayapti. Shuni o'ynagisi keldi-da. Champion'da Indoneziyaga 12 dan boshqa jamoa yo'qmi? Ha.
Literally just been winning them these small wins before the neutral objective even starts, but it comes down to again the lane management and the side, and that's why
Qanaqa
right
telefonda
now
o'ynaydi
Kelra's
bular?
chained,
Bilmayman.
locked in from going into the side lane because of the Paquito. And he
Ketmadim,
could play
yo'q.
such a good game here where he's never really in.
Bakba so'ramiz bolalar.
Yes, and the best part is that he likes to stick his foot
Strauss
out
bo'lmasmi?
in
Yo,
random
men
spots
sitar
just to
betda
make people
bo'lmaydi.
feel like, oh, we got to be worried about the potential flank here. What about the try brush?
Hozir kliniya qanchalik to'g'ri? Turnir uchun to'g'ri.
They just slow down.
Rating
That's
uchun
the
yo'q.
important thing here. Both teams need to really take into account every little detail that's happening across the map. And I think there are moments that I feel that Team Spirit are willing to 50-50 for, especially when they've got priority and pushing waves on their side.
Back to Hiko and the Paquito though, the choice of emblems as well. We've been seeing a lot of lethal ignitions, obviously. In the XP lane, it was mainly quick quantum charge. And that's what Hiko has taken. That inspiration from Paquito into the gold lane. Now he's not, hey, yeah, calm down, man. Hey, looking from the top-down view. But yeah, it's all about playing in and out. It's about baiting those resources on the Paquito as well. It's not just about that instant burst, especially against these top-tier teams.
I mean, he's going for war axe.
Oyun başlandı.
Just trying to, like, if he can one-shot somebody,
Lord geliyordu.
but he can also play a very peel style, right? He can get in and out of fights more reliably. He can actually go down to 50% of his HP, walk up to a wave.
Geek 12dan kuchli bo'lganda brat hozir MSC'da bo'lgan bo'lardi.
The cooldowns are so important.
Not to mention,
they are going to make sure that they fight for a long time because Sans, he would love to drag out these fights.
Holy shield already down.
Holy
magic. Onto Sans, they're trying to really bait out those Crimson Beacons. Lutfi gonna be caught now.
Lutfi qolib ketdi, Lutfi minus oladi. Lutfi minus. Lutfi chiqmaydi. Hayri.
For this, but I don't think they want to dive even further. They use all of their ults just to get Lutfi, and they still haven't cracked open the inhibitor, which is totally fine. But now we're seeing the major interactions here. Kid Bomba recognizes you can Wrath the Dryad all you want as long as I am in that cloud form, casting abilities without any hesitation. There's not going to be a moment for you to lock me down.
Oh, this time they get the Crimson Beacon. Sabo with a perfect match now knows there's a man advantage that they want to capitalize on. That's a base turret with the First Lord with
Tepa tower olindi. Mega creeplar chiqadi tepada.
You know what? We'll give it to them. It's not the long lane. The Lord is still spawning on that top side. So, this is just something that we're going to have to manage.
Mana. Morgan katta planlarni ko'rsatilyapti doim.
Then comes the problem later in the game. Their wave clear is not that great. It's only Kyrie and really Kelra who can clear these waves, but even Kyrie is starting to reach his cap on how much damage he can do because a lot of his damage is directly tied to his levels.
Now it's back to that slow game. It's all about building these waves. And again, Spirit have been the ones with the advantage when it comes to dealing with the waves in the side lane, just mainly because of that 1v1. Kelra
Kelra farm olyapti. Farm berishyapti
I
Kelraga.
don't think he's comfortable playing in that side lane, right? Even if he gets the win in nature, just because Hiko on the QC on the War Axe is going to get the Queen's Wings as well, and the Flicker, it'll be more worth for Hiko to bait that win in nature over just, again, a fight from Kelra.
Which makes me wonder whether or not Hiko is going to go and start getting himself a Malefic Roar or straight into the Queen's Wings. Considering that he's got the War Axe...
Ya, kerak emas. Kelraga agressiv qilish kerak emas. Nabrot o'zini o'ldiraveradi.
See what options he has in a bit, because Conceal's already out and Sawo's opening up the Tribe Rush.
Keyboy doing a good job again, just holding that way, but now...
Voy, kimdir o'tib berish kerak, kimdir o'tib berish kerak. Lekin tep bersam sразу o'ldiraveradigan Geroy yo'q-da.
As they possibly can.
Depsam Zavrani tepish kerak.
Magic's already on Sans, but Sans very calm. He's not going to react, not yet. Not until he sees Sawo do something crazy here, because TS...
Tasini Cherpaxaga olib qo'ydi. Lutfidan ulta flick bo'lyapti, lekin nimaga? Nimaga? Keyboy minus olib ketdi. Fight o'tkazildi, fight o'tkazildi. Kelra, qochish kerak Kelra. Qayerga ketish kerak bo'ldi.
And now they disengage. Finally, a moment to breathe.
Keyboy minus bo'ldi.
He doesn't mind dying there, but he wished that he got somebody other than
Yaxshi,
just
birga biramiz. Men
Onyx
ikkita X
instantly going to take priority and first move on this Lord. What is Team Spirit going to do? Because we're seeing the flank coming in from Zar. Opens up the Tribe Rush. They know it's safe, and Hiko, he's pulling attention to
Tepamega
himself.
kripligi hozir 12 minus ishlayapti. Yaxshi ham tepadan chiqqan Lord. Agar pastdan chiqqan bo'lganida juda qiyin bo'lardi 12 hozir.
So it's a win for Onyx for now. But they have Keyboy down. That means Spirit have the man advantage. I think for a while as Bomba spawns.
I think Onyx recognized that TS, they can't blitz this down as quick as they want to, so they can actually maintain this tempo. It's getting really dangerous because now the Kid Bomba is going to start showing himself. Onyx needs to take advantage of the scenario.
Hozir debga qaytadi, hozir qaytadi.
Shoving in pretty hard. Hopefully it doesn't mess up their mid wave as well.
Probably will. They're gonna have to send members down there, and that means it's free for Zaur to clear out the mid wave. Now, moves out of the wave in the bottom lane, and a good spot for it to build back.
Mega kripligi minus ishlayapti.
Got like roughly a minute or two to work with here. TS has set it up nice. Let's see who gets it.
Tezroq Lordni olish kerak kimdir. Ha, hozir mana smite ko'ramiz. Kayri omon bermasa bo'lmaydi bu Lordni. Kayri. Davay endi. Voy, Zavrab ketdi. Kayri Savo'ni minus double kill qilyapti Kayri. Yaxshi, yaxshi. Bu killga qiziqib ketib qoldi. Smite'ga qaramadi. Ozgina qoldi. Zavrdan nimadir ko'ramizmi hozir Kayriga nisbatan? Menimcha kerak emas u, kerak emas u, Zavr.
Kyrie needs to time this, but I think he's good anyways, right? Just gotta be careful of that lightning truncheon proc.
Yeah, no, it's so safe. I really love the fact that, you know, once you get to a certain point with Hirara, you're like 3 seconds, okay, perfectly fine. Double iframes if necessary. I can wait for my combo points to actually come back up. As long as nobody threatens me in the meantime to force him out, generally will survive. Now let's look at the items one more time, because we're seeing max build already from Hiko. And yes, he did opt to go for his third item to be the Queen's Wings, on top of getting the Malefic Roar at the end, so he has that real 1-2 punch for Kelra if he doesn't build
Morgan Streamer
soon.
Doesn't seem like he is gonna build the
Morgan bilan tilt ketgandi
He
O'zbekiston.
wants to gamble it, man.
Team Spirit
This is the guy
fan
who
bo'ldi.
went Brody against a Beleric, all right? It's all good. He can react to things, and that's what he's leaning on. He's leaning on his own skills, the drills that Lapel was talking about as well, pointing out to Kelra, who's just been practicing all around to deal with damage, to deal with setting tools.
Hey, speaking of damage and dealing with setting tools, Sans also getting himself a Radiant armor here to make sure he doesn't die to Zaur. So now he's not exactly the most optimal target. I think who he's going to be jumping on. I would like to say Keyboy, but like half the time, those kicks really is more for disruption than it is for a big set, considering that both sides have some big haymakers ready to unleash. And I think Zaur's been playing like a really good game with the way that he's going in and out and trading the aggro. Very similar to an MMORPG raid. You have your tanks, they gotta cycle the damage.
Zavrni pozitsiyasini ko'ryapsizlar?
So that everybody stays healthy.
Keyboy. Chek qilgani borda o'zini ketishi mumkin. Tavodan ultimate bosilyapti, lekin Jusinachi bosilmadi hali. Jusinachi bosilmadi. Bu Sans hech kim darajada xotirjam o'ynaydi, lekin bor shunga qolib qolaman.
And I like the fact that Zara, especially when there's technically nothing to fight for, he's willing to just throw the deadly magic at you. Just like, yeah, I need to get something, I need to get a reaction, and as long as that reaction actually happens, it's fine. My ult's gonna come back up in less than 30 seconds, arguably, wait, where is he? Yeah, about 26 seconds, no problem.
That flicker though, well, long cooldown on Keyboy.
Lord chiqadi hozir 30 sekunddan keyin. Kuchagan Lord bo'lib chiqadi.
Oh no, they beat out Keyboy.
Minus Keyboy.
How are you gonna run away from this one, buddy? That's a ball lightning.
Keyboy minus olib ketadi.
Keyboy gonna be taken out by Sours. Bomba walks up and they don't use any crucial resources. It's just the deadly magic.
Вообще nima qilyapti deb hayron qoldim. Keyboy xato qildi. Hozir minus ishlashi mumkin mashq.
And reading your opponent. So far the score is 8-8, but the 2.2k lead on the side of Team Spirit is starting to make me nervous here.
Juda oddiy xato bo'ldi
He
lekin.
does real damage, but it's so hard for him to walk into the fight.
Endi Lutfiga ishonamiz endi. Lutfi nimadir qilib beradi frontalik bo'ladi. Hop. Hop. Kyrie, jonini kelra minus. Kyrie!
I thought that was going to be an instantaneous fight, but even for the side of Onyx, they're willing to expand resources to make sure.
Bitta gero yo'ligini ko'ryapsan, qanchalik darajada minus ishlashini. Gaga bo'lib ketadi hozir. Sans narsa qil. Midga Jusi вообще kerak emas edi-da. Onasini hamsini gaga. Yaxshi, birinchi o'yin, mayli. Spirit foydasiga bo'ldi. Ajoyib. Lord kerak emas. Ya, Keyboy xato qildi. Hala tilt. Hala tilt. Hozir o'zga tashab qo'yamiz tilt kanaliga.
Spirit, we had this discussion behind the stage.
Banking on a lot, seeing the Purify in the middle of 3 different frame to flicker cloud chip.
Tilt kanaldagilar men bitta narsa ushab oldim. Mana sizlarga taklif. Tiltni xursandligini bitta ko'ringlar, mana tilt. Mana. Comeback bo'ladi. Tilt kuting.
I don't think it's gambling at this point, but honestly, we're getting pretty close to it.
Spirit.
Yeah, and the best part is that they identified those windows in the middle of these early
Ajoyib.
probably talking to each other. Hey guys, we got to be careful. Once we come to mid to late game, we can't do this again and again and again. They are going to adapt to us, so we got to look for different punishes. We got to make sure we hit the weakest link at every moment of the game, and they keep on finding it.
MLB kratsimi? Da. Hozir endi ozgina rejim bo'yicha bosib turamiz. Boshlangunicha ikkinchi o'yin. Comeback bo'ladi, cho'chimanglar. Cho'chimanglar, comeback bo'ladi.
It becomes that much better. With that being said, we're going to leave the rest of the breakdown to you, Rain Day, and the rest of the panel.
Comeback bo'ladi hali.
Well, thank you so much, guys. I think Zour Egoist goes deathless there. The 16-year-old.
Kiringlar, bolalar. Yo, ADK yaxshi tanlandi, tanlanishi. Midga Jusin kerak emas edi. Ikki bo'yda xatosi ham minusga ishladi. Qancha vaqtdan keyin boshlanadi? 5-10 minutda boshlanadi. Keyboy o'yna olmadimi yoki pik noto'g'ri bo'ldimi? Keyboy xato qildi ham, midga olingan Jusin xato bo'ldi. Jusin olish kerak emas edi. Midga moment qanaqadir kontrol beradigan gero olish kerak edi yoki bo'lmasam naborot Valentinani olish kerak edi ban qilmasdan. Valentinani olganda ancha o'zgargan bo'lardi nimadirlar. Mid kaditni olish kerak edi. Kaditda u ham variant lekin. Kirasizlarmi? Mayli. Hozir kutadigan bo'lsam men cho'zilib ketadi. Valentinimi bo'lardi? Yo, Iv. No da, Ivan normalniy variant bo'lardi lekin. kun oldin men yukladim qaysi geroyda o'ynaysiz. Siz avval geroylarni tanlamasdan berayotgan geroyda o'ynang, brat. Geroy tanlamaysiz hali. Nega keyboy olaveradi, men ishlayapti. U narsani bolalar keyboy nima вообще igrokni o'zi tanlamaydi uni. Trainer tanlab beradi. Va alaykum assalom yoki. Harlini zo'r ushlab oladi. Ya, ushlolmaydi Harlini. Voy, qanday ushlaydi? Bitta xatoga bo'ldi. Da, keyboy noto'g'ri pozitsiyada edi-da. To'pni tashlagandan birga o'ynardik bir marta. Подпискani o'zi kamlik qiladi-da, brat, birga o'ynash uchun. O'yna o'zi yoki. O'zim hayron bo'ldim. Chota ovoz yo'q o'xshayapti dedi. Dastlab hozir turnir ko'raman baba. Ha, bo'ldi.
Теперь мой зонтик не будет одинок.
Tik qilib omadinglarni bersin deydigan odam.
Отличная игра. Союзник убит. Вражеское двойное убийство. Союзник убит. Враг убит. Вражеское двойное убийство. Двойное убийство. Мое обещание.
PP 100 bo'lganda bitta stream PP bo'ladimi aka? Full stream yapsizmi? Yo'q.
Я дома.
Rejim o'ynaysiz. O'yin boshlanguncha rejim o'ynayman.
Двойное убийство. Серия прервана. Вражеское двойное убийство. Враг убит.
Bo'lmadi. Olib ketmoqchi edim.
Союзник. Двойное убийство. Союзник убит. Вражеское двойное убийство.
Va alaykum assalom. Grizzly ham bravo o'ynayapti. Da, Grizzly ham men uchun turnir ko'ryapti shekilli. Boshlanguncha ham bravo o'ynayapti.
Двойное убийство.
Racing oynasa qanaqa olib ketib qoladi. Olib ketib qoladi ekan. Olg'a Spirit. Qanaqa Spirit? Onik bitadi, Onik.
Зонтик я, человек Финни, а я свяжу еще звено между ними.
Morgan o'zi Team Liquid'da anaqasi-yu. Team Liquid'da fani-yu, просто Team Liquid ketib qoldi-da. Chiqardi.
Союзник убит. Враг в ярости. Вражеское двойное убийство. Наша башня атакует. Наша башня была уничтожена.
Ikkinchini olib ketdim. Alaykum assalom. Qanaqa real pastku? Ikkinchi qiladigan passivkani predmeti bormi? Birinchi skillga o'xshagan. Ana nima bor? Mana. Diesel molniy bor. Molniy.
Я верю, что все в мире.
Вражеское двойное убийство.
Unaga kim bo'lgandan Morgan uchun eng azobli kim bo'lardi ya? Nimaga?
Я верю в доброту людей, но злых деяний я не прощу.
Вражеская серия убийств.
Onik ko'rsatish. El Clasico emas bu, brat. Onik bilan Team Liquid o'ynasa, asha El Clasico bo'ladi. Team Liquid pech o'ynasa. Liquid muxlisim. Endi Onik bitadi deb o'ylayman. Tarjimasi chiroyli o'yin bo'lsa kerak. Ya, u chiroyli o'yin bo'ladi, boshqa bo'ladi. Men Clasico deganda asosan top komandalar uchun.
Хочешь быть моими побегами?
Враг в ярости.
Onik fandan kim yutadi deb so'rayaptim, brat.
Вражеское двойное убийство. Серия убийств. Нашу основную базу
Voy bela.
была уничтожена. Серия прервана.
Muxlislar Onikga balish bor.
Атакуют.
Mosh bo'lishi mumkin.
Вражеское двойное убийство. Враг убит. Двойное
O'zi
убийство.
hozir boshlanadi, sekin chiqishimiz.
Я дома. Это мне? Падать лепестками сакуры. Ша! Ша! Разбейте победу!
Серия прервана. Вражеская серия убийств. Вражеское двойное убийство. Союзник убит.
Chichu arena chekkacha kelasanmi?
Двойное убийство.
Мое обещание.
Tez yutdi, tez spirit yutdi. Yaxshi.
Already working it, Lefel.
Well, when we're looking at a draft, we got to look at who's going to be disrupting the fight because
Ular
Potato,
faqat
he
qizlar
does have a
uchun.
lot of burst, but the things about fighters in general, at least one ability in their kit is able to just change the landscape of the fight. For example, you're positioned in a way that you're like, let's just say 100 meters away from your opponent, but then all of a sudden you're only 20 meters away from your opponent, right?
Yeah.
Positioning
Tak.
is such an important aspect at high level MOBAs.
İkinci oyun başlandı.
Positioning is going to be very important. Anyone that can change your positioning is annoying as hell. They can go to hell.
Yeah.
They can die.
That's what. And first pick Hirara.
Thanks for putting it lightly.
Being that way, I feel like a lot of people feel about that. I mean, I've seen.
Hop yana Hiraro'nun yaptı Leske 12'ten.
It's Mirko playing it in the server here. They have the opponents say the same thing. You know, they talk about Hirara just being able to move and have that mobility. But you know, I think another point of that is again, you have just so many things that you can do.
Atlas.
But because we're in this more assassin meta. More often than utility, for example, we've seen it pop up a couple times. These fights are very push and pull. They're so logic based.
O nimadir gaplashishyapti. Tekamanda bir kit bomba nimadir deyapti. Doim kit bomba qichiydi boru. Bart solinyapti. Yaxshi, exp uchun Bart solishdi.
So they felt it was enough of a threat. They don't want Kelra to have to deal with any of those shenanigans.
I like that even during the draft, Kid Bomba finds a time just to say I love you to Onyx, and I feel like because he knew he was gonna get the barrage, he's like, I'm just saying your name.
I got you.
Yeah, I'm just saying I got the barrage.
You got to think about it, man. Again, that little fun fact there. You know, they're one match away from making history, right? I mean, I feel like this MSC alone here at EWC 2026 has been all about making history.
It really has. Tournament of upsets, tournament of history, both great.
Ishonarli batıracağım. Valentina pick bo'lyapti Esmeralda bilan. Yaxshi mana Valentina mana prям imba pick bo'ldi endi. Harli olanyapti yana.
Must see competition. This is the one that everyone has to see. All the other games B tier.
Yeah.
MLBB's S tier, man.
This one's you gotta watch.
Yeah. Whatever games coming up after this, I feel so bad for them.
Yo'q, Central Aziyadan yo'q.
Hard to beat, I will say. The Lenovo Legion Gauntlet, it's going to host a lot of games. It already has hosted a few.
If you want to be the best,
it's going to be hard to beat this one, though.
If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. That's why we just keep beating ourselves off, and then now we're here, having an amazing series with the Harif band out. I feel like coming up, Onyx has to consider that this Harley pick is going to be the bane of their existence. Are you okay, Nice?
Yeah.
These years, man, this is
I'm just pumped up by your morale.
You're pumped up?
Yeah, by your morale boost.
You gotta pump yourself up for this. Yeah, you need all the energy that you can muster to have an amazing analysis.
Like basamız valla.
Last couple drafts here, Melissa gonna be banned out.
He's trying.
Melissa, that's interesting. Melissa banned.
Yeah, we haven't seen her make too much of an entrance. Actually, hasn't been played. I think in the last 2 days. Maybe once. Maybe once, but it is far cry from what we saw at the end of the group stages.
And it's still very strong. I'm just wondering why they banned Melissa here. They're thinking.
Yeah, birinchi o'yinda
without the Freya.
ozgina komanda chiqardi o'zi.
Option of fighters in the gold lane? I guess there's not. I mean, like before this was Ruby, but after the change of how her lifesteal kind of works, we don't see a lot of Ruby. At least not in gold lane. I think maybe during MWI.
So this might just be
like basamız valla.
Matchup, I would say, especially based on
Kadar Moskva olmasa rozi emasman.
Jushin's going to be the last ban for Onyx. So we could just see a traditional marksman matchup. Maybe the Moskovs, maybe the Claude.
I feel like Hiko is more of a burst kind of guy. We even saw in the crowd someone say we want Hiko Mania back, and now
Wow, olyapti Hikoga, yaxshi.
Gonna be interesting to see what Onyx picks up. I feel like the Moskov should still be pretty solid here, but maybe Kera wants to use a Brody instead.
Brody.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too. Just for the sake of having that extra.
No, Brody ham variant lekinde.
I mean, obviously Moskov can essentially do that too, but let's see what happens here. These last 2 picks for Onyx will round this out. I mean, this is standard for the first.
Alaikum assalam, Zixi.
But now how do you complement that too? Because your Valentina, you're going to have the fatal links pretty much that you can capitalize on and play into.
Barats for Kid Bumba, he said, thank you. I love you, some version of that. Happy to have
Moscow, yaxshi global.
Somebody is going to be able to hopefully lose some of that purification if Atlas comes in. But on the other side, Glue, we have seen that hero make a big impact.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Rain Day, you know, in the hands of Ogwin in the previous series, really helped them out in some of the games that they brought it through. But again, this is good coverage because you've got that tanky front line. You can go ahead and set up with the fatal links.
Agar o'yin Team Spirit'dan o'tolmasa, ham chempionatda orzu qilmasa ham bo'laveradi. Bitishdi.
And again, I don't know how many. I don't know if Sunset Lover's just. He's not tired of playing Eudora, man, because I feel like almost every single game since the past 2 matches, he's just been playing Eudora.
But you know, they're going for a different approach, right? They're trying to
menga nabarat Gulu yoqmadi, Moskva yoqdi.
Is that the win condition here? Banning out the Paquito. We'll see if the Claude and Hikomania can occur. Guys leaning one way or the other? Quick.
Oh, man, I'm going to have to go 4. I think I'm going to lean towards Team Spirit.
Well, we know where LaFell's going, and we know that Spirit is the side that is bringing more of the attention for Naisu. I want to hear what our boys think. Here we go. Gideon, how we feeling about game 2?
Hey, we're already feeling pretty excited how this game has played out after seeing game number 1, but when you're looking at those compositions, that glue's got a lot of work to do here, not to mention the Valentina trade-off. They're going to have access to fatal links, and I'm only seeing 1 Purify coming out of Hiko, so good luck to both mid laners. Something has to be perfect. Somebody will eventually make a mistake, and not to mention Lutby getting chunked out pretty early on.
Yeah, it's not just about mistakes or making it, it's also having to deal with the forced mistakes from your opponent. Spirit just straight up. There's Esmeralda, great against the Marauds, you know. But if it's a 2v1, it's always going to be rough. And Bomba is really just capitalizing off of this. Trying to, I thought, freeze, but no, he just goes for the contest anyways.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit tough here. But he needs the stacks, right? At the end of the day, once he gets into that max stack, it becomes a
Bomba got it. I think Bomba got it. That's why he's recalling.
Yeah, now he's happy. Now he has full control over this lane, right? The prolonged trades won't be as easy as it was before. Now that he has the stacks, not to mention he's got better wave clear.
12 ta agressiya bo'lyapti. Eudora. Eudora minus yaxshi.
Slam, not going to give it to the pass straight up to a flicker on Sunset Lover.
Gayrida smite bor lekin. Passivga to'lgan. Qochish kerak. Ko'p vaqt yo'qotdi lekin Kayri. Juda ko'p vaqt yo'qotdi. Smite'dan bosib olish kerak.
He's not going to have the deadly magic in time to start pressuring these lanes, and I think it's the influence of the lanes that really matter more here. Kelra, he's already in a pretty good position against Hiko. But for the time being, it's all about control. How long can
Yaxshi Sans oldu.
seconds is when that turtle is going to spawn, and Sans very close to level 4 here. They will have access to fatal links if necessary, but let's see what Sans does here.
Someone's going to wait. Perfect match. Oh, that was a gamble that didn't.
Yaxshi, Atlas ultasi bor. Sans oldu.
He died earlier, missed a whole wave.
Yeah, they got to give this up. I don't think this is going to be a contest, or technically it shouldn't be. They also still don't have an answer to Keyboy, who's able to just kind of walk up and...
Keyboy!
Gets on the glue now. Oh my god!
Kid bomba. Oy. Qochki smit qildi Sunset Lover flick bilan. Yaxshi Kayri olyapti Chirpaqani. Moskvada ultimate Kiko pastda. Lutfi minus bo'ladi. Yaxshi. 2 kill bor Team Spirit'da.
I can't believe that they got not only a beautiful detonator's welcome, but made it collide into 2 people in the very first interaction of the game. That could not have gone better for TS in a position which technically wasn't even supposed to be theirs.
And the reaction time of Sunset Lover reacting to the Fatal Links flicker combo from Suns as well.
No, lekin Sunset Lover ushlagandan to'q yo'q edi yerda. Oy, Kid Bomba o'ziga ko'p ish ham bordi. Kid Bomba minus. Kid Bomba. Naqish qilish kerak emas. Atepani ozgina nima deydi? O'z oshimchaligi bor Kid Bombani. Ozgina Kid Bomba yutyapsalik, mensimaslik degan narsa yonib qoladi Kid Bomba.
I don't know whether Keyboy can keep this up, but he needs to continuously harass and start opening up this map here. Not only are we seeing the man-to-man defense, but we're also seeing decisive...
Naqishlar uchun jazolanadi. Bu qilgan ish ham minusga ishlaydi komanda uchun.
Not to mention that Keyboy, even when he is playing defensive like he is right now, he is looking for Sawo. He's thinking, all right, if Sawo shows up, we can do something about this. If we notice that, hey, Zara actually is on the bottom side of the map, does he need to reposition? Because you can see both sides are leaning into that insurance policy.
Kayri'da passivkasi yo'q. Kim smite bosdi? Da, Zavr bosdi.
Such a small win because it's the small little beetle, but hey, a win is a win. If you take away Hirara's main power, you know, being able to farm. Well, hold on. I thought Onyx were gonna rotate up top. Instead, they're gonna wait.
I thought so too.
Ambush.
Hoş. Ya. Savoda qiyin. Yo'pila haqi ketdi. Yaxshi, Savoda tortyapti. Bular Savoga o'ynashmoqchi. Keyboy qop ketdi.
That was the that was the most interesting fate of all time. Both sides were
Maglu kerak emas edi lekin
finally, it surmounts to just a single kill onto Keyboy's side, which is great at the end of the day for Team Spirit. They're going
Glu вообще bitta вообще pikka вообще kerak emas pikidi bor u Glu. Undan ko'ra
They're playing such a beautiful game of
Grillosa ham хотя бы yaxshi edi. Yo, bunaqami Minotaur bilan. Kufra ham даже нормальный вариант edi. Morgan aktiv bugun.
That means he can try to actually feint out some of these, engages. Hold on. Even a conceal to get more prio. Hold on. Valentina's waiting in the bush. No. All right.
They're not going to dive this, are they? I mean, it's a little dangerous to do this at this stage of the game. Not to mention, there's kind of nothing to fight for on the map, right? The buff's already been taken on that top side. If they wanted to make something happen, maybe on that bottom side. But even so, they still are able to get the turret, which is great.
And you get to really see the growth of Hiko as a player, Gideon. Just last year, against Onyx Philippines, Spirit were the ones to choose Onyx PH, right? Winning their groups, doing really well. And in the lanes, it was Hiko who got overzealous, wanting to solo kill Kelra, really wanting to put it out there that he could be better than the god in the gold lane. This time, he trusts in the team. He plays for the team. He doesn't try to get those 1v1s anymore.
Actually, it's a little bit more than that because Hiko decided to start... Oh, hold on.
Wow, Sunset Lover!
Sunset Lover yomon qilyapti, lekin reaksiyani bor gap yo'q.
Taking a brunt of that damage. Kid Bomba's trying to get the angle to pull Ludpi back. Sunset, what is he on?
Yeah, I don't know. I was surprised that Kid Bomba actually didn't want to try for Detna's welcome to get the Purify out of Ludpi earlier. There's still like 35 more seconds until the next turtle actually spawns here, but this is working out perfectly. Come back to the point here. The fact is, he gets this turret for free. Oh, the reaction time here. Bang! I think he was reacting to Ludpi and it was like, hell no!
Lutfi уже anaqa qilib qo'ygan ekan. Reaksiyasini Oy, Kid Bomba yutib yubordi. Keyboy uspet qilmadi, Kid Bombani ustiga chiqqan. Aytganimdek, Glue Picharski pick bo'lgan. Billat. Nima xufralar yaxshi edi, aytib turibman. Xufra, Minotaur, Tigr yaxshi. Nima Geroy berish kerak? Nima keragi bor, billat, Glue berib. U vaqalı ve nima o'yin bu, Onyx?
It's a natural combo here, and now this is going to snowball out of control. This is going to turn into maybe even like a 6K lead.
Обычный joylarda xato. Обычный joylarda o'lishyapti.
The difference is massive. Hiko got the golden staff at 6 minutes. He's on track to get it. 3 item power spike.
I'm really hoping
Hiko
takes that top tier turn because that was a team effort here. Everybody decides, you know what? We go invisible, we make the play. Oh, does he get caught at the... Oh no, he couldn't run away. Sao made it difficult as well. Man, I really thought he had enough base defense to actually survive the whole thing, but man, with the shred and everything else,
they're playing so good. Like,
this is technical boxing. This is they're playing on the outside. They're not like the Unlock Galacticos going for the inside brawl. They're dancing on the out.
Literally.
This is great.
Bomba, bro.
Oh, moments like this where people who don't know high level are like, why is he wasting his ultimate? Cut to Zara, it's like, oh my god, another buff. I'm having the time of my life.
And I gotta give it to Sunset Lover, man. So many of these plays have been set just by him wasting the resources, because by all means, Onyx should be able to capitalize on some of these moments. Sunset is a Eudora. This is a guy who's supposed to be vulnerable against a Fade Lynx, against a Falling Star Moon, but he's just so clean, he's so good with it.
He's playing hot. I think he's still...
Sansam Edoraga emas, bundan qolganlarga o'ynash kerak, bilad. Atlas o'ziga o'yna, bilad. Nimaga o'yna, Kid Bombaga o'yna, bilad. Shaber.
Especially with the qualification to the grand final slot for not only himself but for
Zaurga o'ynamaydi, Zaur qochib ketadi baribir. Sunset Lover varianti, lekin kimga tushaman Sunset Loverda.
At least for now. Let's see how TS wants to do this, right? 25 more seconds.
Swift Trinity for Hiko.
Qaranglar, voy bala.
Ludpi's health bar blown out straight up.
It's this moment here. They're not going to siege. They're not going to siege. He's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. But he's conditioning them. And that's the important part at high level. At the end of the day, Kid Bomba has shown so many Detona's welcomes that have so much value. The fact that he's charging it up, Onyx have decided behaviorally, I must respect it. And they start moving away from this. Now, they've got the Lord in their hands. They don't care about the setup on the Lord because, hey, the waves show up, Onyx. If Onyx shows up, that's when TS are going to attack.
When can they attack though is the question now. I mean, this
Glue, null impact var o, null impact Glue'da.
he gets the Swift Trinity and they go and
Resmen gapirmasa ham bo'ladi.
suddenly bursting him down. And even Litpi's confused. He's behind on the Esmeralda. He's thinking, all right, I gotta get the Radiant armor to deal with our egoist, right? Didn't take into account at all, and it's not his fault that Hiko will be able to get Swift Trinity at 8.
How much do you want to bet that Lutpi probably freaked out because he was looking at the items like he doesn't have it yet, and when he checks it again, when did he get it? Oh, another combo.
Oh, mana hoyat bo'lar kanu mana. Bo'lar kanu o'yina bilan tankini o'ziga.
Now the Spear of Misery. This is where you start to believe again if you're an Onyx fan that Kelra can turn things around.
Nima keragi bor 3 kishi pastga tushib deb qilib bilan. Voy qiziq. Nima keragi bor 3 ta geroy pastga tushib deb qilishdi bilan. Qol ikkitang tepada tushib bitding xolos bilan yetadi bittang tushsang. Gaga bu katgan. Juda katta ehtimol gaga bo'ladi. Saur bilan anaqa vobshe perifarmga chiqib ketdi Cloud. Tavo kiradi, shunday ushlaydi. Flick bilan kirib ushlaydi. Na. Sans minus. Hiko'da joni ketmayapti. Kelra minus. Yo, o'tirib qoldi. Bala, что за хуйня?
Let's be jumping in. Oh my God, Zower again! Takes Kelra below. He gets into the base in time. That's everybody except Kelra down against the SOD. But he gets gunned down by Hiko. And now it's Suns.
They're looking for the end, and this should be it. The full wipeout at the top of it. 13-4, 11 minutes. What a game, too.
What the fuck, man?
For every Team Spirit fan here in the arena. Holy cow. Devastation. And I mean,
Glue'ga qarshi o'ynashni bilishdi emasga. Beti Glue pizdets noto'g'ri pik bilan.
they're begging for a better draft. They're begging to see some light at the end of the
Ya qizi. Ya qizi, nima bo'lyapti? Voy qani Auroraga qarshi o'ynagan o'yinlik qani biladi. Bicharskiy o'yin qilishyapti.
Showed everything. The fact that people go missing, there's so much respect that Onyx is putting on Team Spirit, and I think they gotta get a little dirty here against them. If not, nothing's gonna happen in this game. It's just slowly getting choked out. The triangle choke is over.
Bilmadim. Morgan Grand finalda uronga qaramayapti pikda lekin. Late impact bor, Geroy olsin kayri. Qanaqa late brat, late-ga chiqmayapti-ku, ya. Yo, onasini ham Romga bor, Gludonniga bor, mana. Kufra bor, Minotaur bor, Tiger bor. Tiger olib bersa ham bilan qanaqa impact beradi mana bor. Tigerni ultasi bilan aytishinglarni oladi. Bu yerdan nima? Valentina kirib beradi, Atlas ultasini oladi. Bala. Oddiy pik qilishni bilmayapti. Glue nafik keragi bor, hozir hech tushunmayapman bor. Glue nafik kerak.
Kid Bomba's mom, front and center, excited to see her son one step away from a guaranteed $500,000. Welcome back to the studio. Rain Day, Naisu, LaFell,
Morgan kayfda. Ana ayol kim? Kid Bombani ayasi. Menimcha. 12 watch out. Ishonavering. Vashe chivorishyapti borib. Bitta borib. Yana doim mana shunaqa joyga kelgan chichishadi bor. Doim mana shu qaysidir etapga yetib kelishadi, chichib qo'yishaveradi. O'yinda emas, uchun ham pikda chichadi-da doim. Doim pik chichiladi bilan. Birinchi o'yin, ikkinchi o'yin yutkazyapti. Yana o'ynadimda oxirgi o'yin qoldi. Agar Team Spirit yutsa oxirgi o'yin, agar Team Spirit yutmasa yana o'yin bo'ladi.
Team Spirit didn't change, right? The heroes changed, sure, but in terms of how they approach the fights, it's all the same. Like during the draft, I feel like we're going to run, but Onyx they ban out the Paquito, but now they're like, wait, hold on. The Paquito was a problem, but Bomba, man, because the thing about the Barats, he basically has a winning matchup against everything in the current meta. Well, at least, you know, meta
Yo, bu. Hop, Lutfi Xuysini bo'pti, Expo'da bo'pti, Esmada mayli mana Martsga qarshi turib. Glue bo'lmaydi-da Romga. Qaysi miya bilan Romga glue oladi, bilasiz? Bu pikka qarshi nima keragi bor? Glue'ni kim ushlab beradi bu yerda? Cloud ushlab beradimi? Harley ushlab beradimi, bilasiz? Kim ushlab beradi? Просто bile yuraveradi u yerdan bu yoqqa borib kelib. Bala.
Let's make sure that Loopy is also a non-factor because I feel like that's going to be the main part of his analysis, which is there's no front line for Onyx.
That's the hard part about it because now back-to-back games, Keyboy really struggle, right? He is known as being a roamer to
Keyboy'da diye qo'ysa olmaydi Glue'da hayotda. Keyboy umuman olmaydi Glue'da.
But we're seeing the struggle now, back-to-back games. And so usually when that's happening, when the roamer is struggling and having a really difficult time at trying to set things up, you really have to count on your
Ko'rasan, Romni piki hal qilyapti. Chuda olib turib, Chudaga randomli joydan Dalboyevskiy joyga borib turib, ashit yeb keldi biladi tepada. Hozir endi mana Glue olib beryapti, Glue deb qo'yapti. Undan oldin XP kim olishdi? XP bilirik olindi, shu olindi, to'g'ri? Mid chichilunni oldi. Midga juicy olindi. Hamma narsa yetarli bo'lyapti-da, middagi bilan magic kurun yetarli bo'lmayapti.
Was it Selena that was taken out earlier? Are they looking at mid? So I think that's an interesting thing too. Where did they start to shift their attention? Break down what you were looking at and how you analyze game 2.
So first thank you. So,
I got you.
So first of all, we're going to be looking at the draft here, and we're going to talk about how, honestly, things didn't change that much, because you guys are my fellow Americans. I'll explain in language that you guys understand, right?
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Imagine this is Imagine this is American football, right?
Yeah.
Over here,
field goal.
Over here we got the quarterback, and over here.
Zentmiye 12 daqiqa narsa yutayotganda qatta edingiz, brat? Siramasa, qaysi go'rladi yuruvdingiz, qaysi teshiladi yuruvdingiz, siramasa? 12 daqiqa narsa yutayotganda. 12 dominant bo'lib yurgan vaqtlar qayerda yuruvdingiz, siramasa, brat?
Because he knows
he watches a lot of football. Shuni ayting.
You know the positions. What's going on here?
I always have a lot of useless information. I just have to figure out how to use it, right? So, either ways, back to the point here again. As the linebacker, he knows the read that it's always going to be a running play.
Даже Franco ham yaxshi edi, Glue'dan ko'ra biladi.
It's easy for Team Spirit here, where these two deal with the glue, and then that's it. That's your job. That's it. Kid Bomba, everyone else, but it's going to be easy because he just has this single target because in lane.
Ko'rasizmi, mana aytyapti. Glue'ning vazifasi Edora bilan Harley dushash. Voy! Glue qatdan bu Edorani ushlab beradi bilan qaysi mobilnisini evaziga ushlab beradi Edorani. Qaysi mobilnisini evaziga bilan Harley ushlab beradi. Vaxuye просто bilan.
The opponent's responding faster than us because there's two bad things happening here. First of all, Kid Bomba got a catch here, but then just a bit unlucky where Sawa was able to stun two members.
Arsavashni o'lagan shunga yetdi. Siz bitta matchga qarab turib fikr bildiradigan odam bo'lsangiz, iltimos chatdan fikr bildirib o'tirmaymiz. Aqllilik qilib, brat.
Was almost caught by Suns and then incredible reactions.
Bitta o'yinni ko'rib olib ko'p gapirmaymiz.
Same as the second clip. It's just that Sunset Lover had amazing.
Ne 12 bosib kelgan joylarini ko'ring-da, bunday Team Spirit'iz bilan solishtirib ko'ring, xo'p? Team Spirit'izga hali daxuya bor. 12 urbiniga tenglashishga. Hozir balkim o'yini yaxshi chiqayotgandir, lekin o'bshi hisobda 12 urbiniga umuman yeta olmaydi Team Spirit. Hali bor ancha Team Spirit yeta olishi. 12 siz o'ylagandan ko'ra anchagina katta komanda.
Maybe as his
But you guys understand the whole American football.
Yeah.
Of course. It's just that Kid Bomba just
Buni ko'p qo'rlayapsiz.
I hope everybody watching has
Brat,
that
bu
understanding.
turnir bu, tushunyapsizmi? Bu solo rank emas, brat. Solo rankda u hamma dardisar bo'lib yuradi, brat. Yoki bo'lmasa mana bu randomli fulkada yuradi, dardisar bo'lib. Bu turnir. Turnirda mobilnost yo'q, geroy orqaga o'tishi juda ham qiyin narsa u, brat. Onavi onasini emsa Harli bilan Edora orqada o'ynaydigan geroylar qanaqa qilib ularga yetib boradi klub? Qanaqa qilib savol. Oldida Atlas turibdi, brat. Nima turibdi, bilat? Cloud turibdi, brat. Cloud o'tkazmaydi, urun tiqib tashlaydi basharasiga. Barch turibdi.
Kid Bomba's too dominant. Our egoist hasn't died. Those are the things you're just trying to figure out.
TLP ham bag'ishlarlar chiqib ketdi, bilat. Ikkita o'yin qanaqadir yutkazib, billa. TLPga vashshiy quyib qilgan bor, bilat. Xo'p, Aurorani tushundim. Xo'p, Aurora yetarli darajada qattiq o'ynadi. Lekin nariga bilan Entity-mi, Entity bilan. No, слишком слабые командада bular uchun.
You have to focus on where you can, and like I said,
o'yinchilar o'zi pick qiladigan qilish kerak edi.
and Keyboy are big cornerstones to that because every single time that we've seen Onyx make a big comeback or a possible reverse sweep, it's usually starting there and then allowing the rest of the team to kind of shine from there.
Onyx vashshi o'ynamayapti.
Drafts haven't been bad or anything like that. They haven't been terrible. It's just more so they're getting honestly outplayed by Team Spirit.
Yo'q, o'yinchilari o'zida emasdi, o'qib dam olishga sanjay formada emas. Qanaqa Zixi. Ha, bitta narsani tushuning. Mana u jahon chempionati mana u. Tushunyapsizmi? Bu qanaqadir MPLID, MPL5dagi o'yin emas. Bu jahon chempionati. Jahon chempionatiga forma bilan unaqa bo'ladigan bo'lsa, shunday zapas o'yinchilar bilan almashtirish kerak. Xursand bo'lar ekanman. Balkim. Hali tugamadi. O'qib chiqib ketgan nimadan? Kelpeshdan. Bale.
Vault here, Street Fighter 6. I got my homeboy over here, Mr. Rob Television. My friend, I've been hearing stories about what's happening here on stage because
Shotnet 2-0 Team Spirit tutuyor.
Brother, you know that was amazing. We hosted it last year. It was a legendary grand finals. Both of them not only out, they went
Olmasligi uchun 12 shart, no-name'lar finali qiziqmas. No, Yangon Galacticos'da ko'pchilik bilmaydi, lekin Team Spirit ko'pchilik biladi. Qayerga nima bo'ldi? Ey, umuman o'ynamayapti. Просто line-dagilar o'zini vazifasini to'g'ri qilmayapti.
Oh, did he sit down this time and make sure he was locked in? Well, he did make sure he sat down, but unfortunately, he had to sit down for good as far as this tournament because even the Alpha himself went 0-2 in this event.
Qanaqa MLB deyapsiz? Zetmi gapirayotgan gapingiz tushunib gapiring. Qanaqa MLB? Nima ekan tushunyapsizmi?
From Chile, that young, and he has already made his way all the way to the top 8.
Alaykum assalom, lads.
It's one of the beautiful things about Street Fighter, bro. The generations. You have a 15-year-old playing against a 40-year-old.
Kengash bo'lsa kerak, streamingizda ham ko'raman, lekin chat yozish yoqmaydi. Ishlaringizga yordam jahona batasan. Alaykum assalom. Ha, bilaman, chatda juda yenilar ko'p, bilaman. Rahmat, brat. Imkonmi kuchli geroy? Kuchli igrok. Muzikasini o'chirib qo'ymasam, afterskiga berish mumkin. Salom, brastim. Zentmiya iltimos, sal fikrlashni o'rganib keling, iltimos. Xo'p, boring. Analiz qilishda, analitika degan narsani o'rganib keling, brat. Yosh bola bo'lsangiz, ko'tingizni qisib jim o'tiring. Aql o'rgatmasdan o'zingizdan kattalarga. Yangi o'yinlarni qo'y. Hozir eski o'yinni ko'ryapti deb o'ylayapsizmi? Причем тут mobileligi, brat? Men sizga nima? 12 o'ynagan paytda Mobile Legends emas, CS:GO deyapman men sizga. Jinniroq emasmisiz? Ash paytingiz ham Spirit bo'lgan. Team Spirit'iz endi 2 yildan beri sal bunday chiqib qoldi. Unga da o'qa deydi Team Spirit'iz bilan. Sastat qilib yurgan hamma komandaga. Komandaga qaralayotganda, brat, komanda haqida fikr bildirilayotganda, mana bunday analitika bunday olib kelinadi, brat. Va bitta o'yinga qarab turib fikr bildirmaydi, dalboyobga o'xshab. Tushundingizmi gapimni? Unda naxuy keragi bor Karl Tizliyni, Kayriyni bir-biriga solishtirishda agar siz hozirgi moment bilan solishtiradigan bo'lsangiz. Naxuy keragi bor unda Ronaldo, Messini solishtirib. Naxuy keragi bor unda boshqa narsalarni solishtirib. Miyangizni ishlating. Dalboyobga o'xshab jalaki yo'l aql chichmasdan menga biladi. Shu o'tmishingiz bo'ladi, kelgan kelajagingiz bo'ladi. O'tmishsiz kelajak bo'lmaydi, tushunib oling shu narsani. O'tmishingiz bo'lgani uchun hozir yashayapsiz. O'tmishingiz bo'lmaganida hozir yashamayotgan bo'lardingiz. Aqlingizga sizga sizni. Fikrlashingizni to'g'rilang bilan. Aql chichmasdan kelib olin menga. Aqlinglar yetmagan narsaga fikr bildirmanglar bolalar chatda. Tappaga o'xshab biladi. Team Spirit'iz bo'ladimi, bo'lmaydimi? 12 ta juda ham yaxshi kuchli komandalari bo'lgan. Juda ham dominantli bo'lgan eralari bo'lgan. Xo'p, miyangiz bilmagan narsaga bilan aqllilik qilmang menga kelib olib. O'niki dominantlik qilib yurgan vaqtda hammasi chichib yurgan bilan. Zentmiya siz yosh bolacha fikr bildiryapsizlar. So'kinadi degani yosh bola degani emas. Sizdaqa ongi odamlar borligi uchun odam so'kinadi. Sizdaqa ongi odam bo'lmasa-chi men bir chiroyli gaplashib o'tiraman chatdagilar bilan. Aqlli biladi. Uning dominantlik qilib yurgan vaqtda ishongan komandalaringiz ham chichgan biladi. Bitta o'yinga qarab turishlar, fikr bildirasizlar, biladi. Vancho ketganiga ancha bo'lyapti Team Spiritda. Voy, Team Spirit endi 2 yildan beri normalniy sal bunday o'yin ko'rsatib boshqa narsa qilyapti. Mana ola bilasizlarmi, necha yildan beri bor 12lar? Monga o'xshaganlarni, mana Kidbombaga o'xshagan bichlarni hozir mana kelib turib gapirayotganlar. Kidbomba ham sal yutyapsa o'zidan birorni qanday yasab oladi biladi. Biznesmenni yasab oladi. Ozgina yutib qo'yayotsa. bir xil sanlar fikrlashgan shunaqalarni senlar. Ha, mashincha gapingga 3-2 olib ketsa, shu ko'tim bilan kulaman ishonishga senlar ustingda. Ko'tim bilan kulaman ishonga.
Because at this point,
Bo'ldi, og'iz ochib qo'ydim.
or at least make it so that he doesn't secure the first EXP crap. That's how you win the lane against Kid Bomba, and then after that, you got to start chasing either Zao Egoist or Sunset Lover. At that point, I feel like Loopy has to do what Kid Bomba has been doing, and 1v3 or 1v4. If he cannot do that, that's GG. Spirit's gonna end the game.
They have to. I was wondering if it'd be a gold lane ban, at least to maybe take out the Clone or something, but they do take out Sunset Lover's Eudora. He just gets the Valentina anyway. I almost expected Valentina to be picked up for Onyx because you're playing against the Atlas here, but this is going to be a little bit different. Now these last two picks will sort of paint the destiny of Onyx throughout MSC right now. This is so crucial for them because these first
Kirara любой pikka tushadi, brat. Kirara meta geroy.
what we've seen so far. But how do you supplement that main problem we're talking about?
Prosta pikchilyapti 12 ta. Kirara juda ham zo'r pik o'lyapti Kirara.
To set things up for the rest.
Again, he just needs to win the lane. This Valentina pick, well, they pick up a Gord here, so I think that's how they're going to deal with Kid Bomba, have a shred. But then for the EXP, they're going to pick up the...
Taramami. Esangin emas, Temur. Rossiyani komandasi.
Can go to the EXP, it's not that bad, because Barat is slow, but still, Onyx is taking a risk.
O'zbeklarning komandasida bilan tarafini olasizlar bor.
But, hey, say la vie.
You know, it's a bit of a risk when you guys aren't even sure about how it's going to work. And the burst from Clint come in.
Spirit is also taking a chance here because they have two scalers in the Clint as well as the Yeast and Shin. So the moment Onyx is...
Kirara bilan emas, va pik ibanot uchun yapsizmi? Glue bilan qanday biladi orqadagi pozitsionkada o'ynaydigan geroylar qarshi o'yna oladi Glue bilan. Bundan oldin Justiyon beryapti bilan. Magический урон kerak payti, Magический kontrol normalniy kerak payti Justiyon ber. Justiyon nerf olib kirib ketib bo'ldi o'zi kiradigan joyiga. Olish kerak emas Justiyonni. Normalniy maglar turibdi bilan, ostan ashlardi. Yo'q bilan, oddiy qo'llab Justiyonga yopishib olaveradi bilan. Bo'ldi bilan chiqish kerakmi? Justiyonni miyasidan chiqarish kerak Justiyonni yangi geroyga. Bitta geroyga to'liq kontrol bera olmasa, ikkinchi geroyga o'zi ma'nosi yetmayapti. Nafi kerak-ku bunaqa mana.
It's up to Team Spirit to book their ticket and do it for EECA. It's time for Mirko and Gideon to get us to what could be our final game of the semifinals.
One chance, one opportunity, a way to make history, another disappointment, or a chance at redemption, as Onyx might be able to take this game. But these drafts, man, I don't know about you, Mirko, but this has been a brutal matchup for Onyx, especially in the mid lane.
It just looks so good for Spirit. Even a Clint pick here just to try to bully Kelra in lane. I think it's really good. Great movement here as well by Hiko to dodge the synchrofish. As we take a look at the emblems for this game number 3.
So making sure that everything is up to date here. It's making sure they also have...
Ushamani xato qildi, o'ldir bilan. Nakazat qilib tasha. O'ldi u ham, Savo ham o'lish kerak. Qochirishma bilan.
Scenario 2-0, one of the better starts we've seen here for the side of Onyx.
This is the best start we've seen from Onyx already. So we'll see if they can actually capitalize on this. Kyrie this time 2-0. So again, this could be it as well.
Oyna, Kelra.
Kyrie in game number 3.
This is an amazing start for the Sky Kings. And at this stage of the game, TS, well, early game plan might have to, take a back step for a little bit here. It's not the end of the world because a majority of that lead is still on Kyrie. The question is, can the laners keep this pace up to maintain this level of oppression as we start moving into our very first turtle here in game number 3? And TS, they already have information.
Qudrat men unaqa pul tikmayman hech narsaga, brat.
As well as Kyrie as well.
Dajoshlarim bilan gar o'ynamayman, brat. Unaqa harom narsalar men bilan tenglashtirmayman unaqa harom narsalarni.
Might be going to the bottom lane as well here, knowing that they cannot contest with a neutral objective, but Sunset is very close to level 4. It seems like they want to contest still. Sunset sitting with the Valor ult instantly, and now it's going to be Sawa. Big shot from Bamba into it. Sunset's right there, and he finds it. Sour Now it's Bomba staying alive for a bit. Throws Keyboy back away. That's the missing projectile landing and looking picking up the kill. Sour walks up and he goes right there.
And now they want to go for a little bit more. Kelra and Sans now in the fight. Who gets it?
Retry from Sour is clean.
Dash.
Not the instant dash just yet, but Sunset to be taken very low. Hiko's still right there, and that's
Chamasa.
with the pickup on Sunset Lover.
Balda Lutfi.
Can they set this up even more? No, Sawo here to cover Hiko. He's walking up. He's thinking about it.
Bala.
Bomba's right there as well. They're gonna pick up a kill. So it's TS leveling the odds back again. That shutdown on Kai put Team Spirit back on track.
Yep, all right. Things back on track. Now we can go back to the game plan here. Level 4 has already been achieved, but let's look at that replay one more time here. Because again, Kid Bomba able to tank a good chunk of that damage, especially from that gush. Unlucky for Sans that he wasn't able to get a little bit more off of this, but once everybody got into the middle of this fight, even Kelra deciding, you know what, it's time to Zaman Force and start triggering the fight.
Katta ekranni iltimos, katta ekran. Ana fight bo'lyapti, ma kichkina ekranda. Ey, fighter. Millat. Повторini itaramizmi biz? Arroz. Keladi Hiko keladi. Hiko keladi, Kairi go. Go. Gord, control 1.
Gets the flicker as well. Nice. Just a little bit more. Lutfi catches him at the end of the glorious pathway, but unable to really capitalize on it. Darn you mid walls. But for now, I mean, we're back to a neutral state.
Look at Bomba though, utilizing that chaos to get all of the turret shield.
Still a bit of a win at the very least. I just love the fact that Onyx are now saying, you know what? We're on our comforts. We shouldn't be that
Lap bunny diyor.
Right? They're getting a little disrespectful, and I think they've learned from the previous game. Hey, if things are going bad, we got to instigate some kind
Bala chon imba tushardi lekin ma. O'shaninglarga chon imba bo'ladi.
Bomba with the cut under tier 2.
Deep one as well.
That is
Clint ustiga shunday o'tirardi bo'ldi. Bala 8 6 bo'lib yotdi Lutfi.
Bala. I think his job right now is to keep Kyrie here. He's going to reset that buff.
He's added.
Sounds able to flick around. Now the missing projectile and the missing gush as Kyrie walks over the mobilization, but now it's going to be the chop.
Yaxshi.
He has the flicker. He flickers out of safety.
Yaxshi. Yaxshi. Minus bo'ladimi Kid Bomba? Minus qilish. Xarosh.
Gets his first stack of the Sky Piercer.
But they don't get anything else on the map, unfortunately. They managed to clear the waves just in time, so no big convergence and no bigger trades for the side of TS. Onyx win it out. They're sending 3 members down as Kyrie's on top. Let's see the dispersion, because unfortunately for Hiko, he's got to recall at some point. He's got no mana.
Yep. I think now is the right time to recall. Sunset Lovers looking for the angle. Now on Kai. He goes for the dash. He's waiting for it. Oh my god. He timed it. Sunset Lover. 3 games in a row.
Shoshildi knopkaga. Shoshildi Kairi.
Man, Sunset Lover, the prodigal child is back. They don't want to go. At least Kid Bomba didn't have his flicker there. That'll. Oh!
Sawo fatally straight into Hiko. Keyboy with the rattle to the Dryad, but now it's going to be the chase as the conceal gets used up by both. One into the bottom lane. It's Bomba. He's going to look to try to bait out the Purify from Kelra. Zaman Force coming out. Sawo with a perfect match. He's going to try to go for the dive right now as Kelra is able to go for it. A few more hits. Big chop. Purify out from Kelra.
Don't punish just yet. We need to see the item list here. Did Hiko get into that power spike as soon as that wombo combo happened? Because as of yet, that was a lot of damage, and now Zara gets a mid-tier 1. Looking to threaten multiple buffs at the same time. Even managing to walk away with this. Bit early on the retribution. Let's look at this one more time, because again, a huge catch here, especially on Zans, who's very susceptible to this Atlas at the stage of the game. He doesn't have that Purify. He's got to make sure that when he positions himself, it's very much when he has that info, but at the same time, nobody can really stop Sawo from getting in on the fight.
And no one can stop Sour from farming. This guy, I mean, Rayleigh pointed it out earlier. Yes, Sour has died. It was once. It was a shutdown towards the end of the game, so it didn't count that death. But man, this guy is just untouchable. The egoist. And this time, so clean on the traceless. The CC immune to get away from these CC locks.
Bir bilan kiradi Lutfi Kustga, bir bilan. Prosta takmas bilan.
Technical boxing. There's still aspects of being on the outside, but you can see
Faqat Hills o'ynashni bilmaydimi u? Birda bosib kirsa bo'ladi, bilat mana shu Kustga bilan bir bilan kirsa, ash chiqqan vaqtda bitta kontrol berasan bo'ldi bilat. Oddiy narsani qilmayapti, boru.
this is why you got to watch these games. This is why you can't just look at the stats after the game. You look at Sunset stats, you're probably like, oh my god, he didn't have a good game. But then you watch it and, hey man, what a performance from Sunset. Yes, first blood, sure, a mistake, but the redemption was 10 times fold. That mistake. And now Sao zoning Kai away from the jungle.
Plenty of damage dealt all across the board. San's actually getting some pretty decent damage. However, the way that their leads are working. Oh, it catches!
Max range, now it's the rest of the
Jackpot! Jackpot!
Breaks the flicker out from Sans, and now it's free for Sao if he wants to get Sans.
No way! He didn't see the Jets right underneath them, pushing him right into it. Holy! TS are not missing a beat as of right now, and their mechanics are so sharp. It
Ko'proq shunaqa XP'ga mobilnosti yo'q, bir bicharski bilan geroylar olsa, XP'ga tushmaydigan yo'bnuti geroylarni olsa, shunaqa qilib bilan chiqaradi o'yin bilan.
I don't see it happening for now. They already lose their shielding down by the mid lane. That's fine. They still have their side lanes to work for, but they still have 33 seconds.
Shuncha XP yutib turibdi bilan, olmaydi bilan.
Everything they need to close it out.
Oh my god, Zara already prolific.
Pull up the items. I want to see that right now. What is Zaur on? He's level 14 at 8 minutes. This could be the fastest level 15 in the tournament.
Hyper efficient as well. Doesn't go for the BOD. Goes for the hyper efficient items to make sure that his power spikes are alongside with how strong Hiko is with the Berserker Spirit and Endless Battle. Once he gets that Malefic gun, the sieging will begin.
If he gets a screen crab and the orange, that'll be the fastest level 15, I think. But he doesn't care. He wants to stay objective. TS on the Lord.
Sonra bilib turibdi jala. Atlas bo'lyapti, Atlasni bank qilib biladi. Yo'q, Selenani bank qiladi. Qaysi bitta yibanoti geroyni bank qiladi biladi. Atlas tortyapti biladi. Shunday usha beryapti, bo'ldi biladi. Ulti ham shartmas, prosta 1-2 bilan mana shunday usha beryapti, bo'ldi biladi. Kills minus biladi. Yo'q biladi, Kairi minus уже biladi.
It's not even 4D chess. It may seem black and white, but the chips are telling everything. 8-6, 2 kills down, and yet there's a 6.5k lead and a Lord about to knock on the front door. Kelra at least has his third item.
Let's talk about the siege, because the siege is looking good for Spirit. It's 2 marksmen. On top of that, the zoning tool from Bomba. Detonus welcome, Fatal Links as well. Sky Piercer for Kai was shut down earlier. And how's the Mountain Shocker again? It's gonna be Sour, trying to bait out a few resources again. If he's able to get a Purify, which he can, that'll be massive for Sour, massive for Bomba.
See how they play this up, because I want to see that Wrath of the Dryads be used at some point in TS. They recognize it, they have to respect it.
Sour with his own again with a perfect match.
Yo'q mana, birdaniga mana, qaranglar mana. Birdaniga ichkariga kirib fight boshlab beradigan bayetsi yo'q bilan. Bizdagi var, bizda kilos bor bilan yibanoti bilan.
We might see initiation from a glorious pathway, but the denial of information and the split up from Zar, they're not playing a traditional front to back, and now they're sieging even further.
Again, it's gonna be Sao. God has the flicker out again. They're gonna play it safe right there.
Ha, rahmat. Rahmat. Shu yetishmay turuvdi endi bizga. Rahmat. Nasha yetishmayapti bizga o'zi. Zaебал уже, Бару, заебал. Vay bela. Richala, ochmayapti diyor. Ha, bo'ldi. Ana dabbaladi o'zida qatib qoldi bile. Ana yo'bnutiladi o'chib qoldi. Stream'i o'chib qoldi ana turnir qilayotganini biladi. Turniringga
чуть-чуть урона не хватило, можно было прям нормально проблемы и пробелы доставить для коллектива Оник, но лучше не рисковать. Сыграем аккуратно, академично, перефарма 7000. Вообще в порядке все с этим делом. Дожидаемся лорда через 20 секунд. И вот уже с ним нужно наводить суету. Пока аккуратнее. Постоянно у нас просто отдельная камера, как будто на маму Кидбомбы, которая поддерживает.
Главный суперфанат в этой ситуации и Кидбомбы, и коллектива Спирит. В любом случае, у нас меньше 10 секунд. До лорда Кидбомба немножечко подсдулся на барте, но я думаю, да, он проверяет, кстати говоря, кусты, спокойно свои стаки наберет, если ультанет, подбросит кого-то, и все будет у него хорошо. 9-7 счет в пользу Оника, а он выбивает очищение из Келлера, и теперь это открытая дорога для Савоча ультануть по Хариту.
Nima bu? Nima keyboy? Nima keyboy bilan? Nima bu keyboy?
Там 1500 здоровья, выходит еще подрегенивает, но коллектив Оников не могут теперь выходить на этот объект.
Да, минус флик у Кибоя, теперь инициация невозможна. Келлера все еще без очищения не может идти вперед. Кайри прыгнул на Савоча, забрали лорда. Наверху огромная пачка. Успеют задефать все это дело, ребята. Из Оникой будем заходить опять. Лорд пойдет по миду. Да, кастовать ему некуда, но тем не менее усиленные пачки. Нужно ими пользоваться и за счет них сносить строение.
Да, можно сейчас даже не ускорять никаким образом.
8К.
8000 преимущество, друзья. Для 13 минуты 10 секунды это прям приятные цифры. Лорд, конечно, не самый быстрый, но он уже выдвигается на центр. Мы как будто очень близки к развязке. Дефать это проблематично. Очень сильно большой Ли Сун Син на карте. Также не отстает особо прям далеко у нас и Хика. Клин тоже имеет затарчик прям плотненький. Ну и вот она, атака.
Да, заходят ребята из Спирит на базу оппонента. Лорд фуловый. Лутпи пытается вывести его на нижнюю линию. Верхнюю заберут Спирит. Теперь атакуем вниз. Лутпи там останавливается. По двоим взорвать Келлеру получается. Моментально отправляется. Он в таверну. Савоч тоже идет в размен. Лутпи остается последним. Санс. И это победа. Спирит минус 5. ГГ. 3-0 против Оник.
Друзья, просто чемпионов Индонезии. Сильную команду, которая еще забирала для себя чемпионство на МСИ в 23 году. Это Кайри, всем известный по всему миру. И тут закрывает коллектив драконов со счетом 3-0 своего оппонента. Четко, выверено, красиво, впервые.
Coachingga qo'ttag'am sen buyini amana pikib bergan gandon bilan, yobnuti bilan. Kilnesinga qo'ttag'am, Justininga qo'ttag'am bilan. Yog'zingga siske bilan, pikqigan basharingga qo'ttag'am bilan. Yo'qolib ket naxuy bilan. O'rningga men pik qilsam ham yaxshiroq pik qilaman bilan, buyinami. Voy jalab.
Драконом они их просто переехали. Это 3-0. Это не полноценная Best of 5. Это просто переехали. Причем 3 карты по 15-17 минут.
Ну, первая еще что-то была, пошататься.
Uchta pik yebanutı bilan. Jusin. Hemen glue. Shield XP'ga bilan. Voy jalab.
Как тряслись поджилки-то на старте.
Да мне до сих пор что-то немножко плохо.
Meni ama.
Но мне нравится это.
Это было опасно, но...
Stets naxuy var. Coach almashadi, kelgan bu dalbi yo'pa bir tuzuq qurib bo'ladi. Tez var, biz tez. Nima pik bu? Nima pik bila? Shuncha pay jalab bizdek o'ynab keladi jalab. Oxiriga kelganda chichadi bila. Doimgidek.
Ko'ngil na qahva istar, na qahvaxona, qahva bir bahona. Juma muborak dedimi?
Нет
Uchta
таких
pika,
дел, которые
uchta
нельзя
pik
решить
bilan,
с пачкой
uchta
чипсов.
pikda chichivordi boru. 3 ta o'yinda hamma pikada chichdi davom. Berishiga
Alga oni nima bo'lyapti?
Endi bor yo'qolib qolgan, yoqmayapsan. Bor yo'qol, dalbayo'q, tushunyapsanmi? Yo'qol. Yo'qol, yo'qib qol. Yo'q bo'lib qol, topishmoq bo'lib qol, bor, topolmay seni. Jasturbek buvini borib ko't deysan, dalbayo'q bilan. Kimsan o'zi dalbayo'q?
Ko'ngil na qahva istar, na qahvaxona, qahva bir bahona. Juma muborak dedimi?
Jasur bor, onangni ham kirib ketdi. Hamni bolasi. Solo kibr bo'lsa ko'rmayman.
Запретите героя.
Просто mana bunday qilib ne ban qilib qo'yish degan narsani qilmaydi biladi dalbayo'q.
Облака так переменчивы, но мое сердце
Противники
непоколебимо.
Никто мне не указ, ни семья, ни судьба.
Kakashi uni tushunishi ong bo'lish kerak odamda. Miyani ichida ong degan narsa bor. Ana shu ong bo'lish kerak. Bu dalboyo'qlarda yo'q u ong.
Борись, сражайся за истину.
Пусть лучше меня боятся, чем любят.
Противники выбирают.
Ради него я стану маяком в этом бушующем море.
Power of Pegasus!
Выберите героя. Снайпер готов. Дайте цель.
Обскура к вашим услугам.
Противники выбирают.
Танцуй со мной под ритм молний. Добро пожаловать в Mobile Legends! 5 секунд до начала атаки. Задайте им жару. Все отряды отправлены.
Высшее духовное состояние — это мое стремление и мое оружие. В поисках света я погружаюсь в самую кромешную тьму.
Первая кровь.
¿Por qué soy fuerte? No. ¿Por qué soy? Efirga omad charcha. Fuerte. ¿Por qué soy? Fuerte.
Моя слабость
Because I'm strong.
тяготит меня.
Because I'm strong.
Ahmet Xorazm.
Я здесь, чтобы покончить со злом.
Враг убит. Серия убийств. У врага нет боевого заклинания.
За что сражается
Враг
ниндзя?
достиг уровня убийства. Мега-убийство.
Другой, но такой же смерть.
Враг достиг уровня 4.
Благородного
Убей врага! Враг убит! Отступаем! Отступаем! Неудержимый! Союзник убил черепаху!
Мое лезвие ведет туда, где правит страдание.
Отступаем! Внимание на фланге!
Не начав битву.
Эпичный отыгрыш! В атаку! Понятно. Мы опережаем врагов. У врага нет боевого заклинания. Серия убийств! Нужна помощь! Убит.
теряю ориентиры, путь ниндзя направляет меня.
Убили врага! Отступаем!
Понятно.
Союзник убит. Отличная игра. Внимание на фланги.
За что сражается ниндзя? Клянусь.
Понятно.
Пряга убийства.
Благородство крепче любой брони.
У врага нет боевого заклинания.
Серия прервана. Враг убит. Союзник убил черепаху. В атаку!
Ой, как свет.
Нужна помощь.
Погружаюсь в самую кромешную.
Отступаем. Внимание на фланги. Отступаем. В атаку.
Я выигрываю, даже не
Убийство в
начав
одиночку.
встречу.
Сыграно.
Другой.
Союзник
Смерть.
убит. Ваша команда уничтожила вашу.
Когда я теряю ориентиры, путь ниндзя направляет меня. Высшее духовное состояние — это мое стремление и мое оружие. Мое лезвие ведет туда, где правит страдание.
Серия убийств. Двойное убийство. Ваша команда уничтожила вашу.
Я здесь, чтобы покончить со злом.
Божественно. Враг убит.
Моя
Ваша команда уничтожила убийство. В атаку.
Убийца черепах. Великолепная игра.
В атаку.
Понятно.
Мое лезвие ведет туда, где правит страдание.
Внимание на фланге.
Моя слабость тяготит меня.
Ультимейт не готов.
Другой.
Союзник
Такой же.
убит. Серия убийств. Серия прервана. Двойное убийство.
Lotirjon grafika telefonga bog'liq, brat. O'zingizni telefoningizga bog'liq u. Nimani so'rayotganingizni tushunyapsizmi o'zingiz ish qilib?
Высшее духовное состояние — это мое стремление и мое оружие. В поисках света я погружаюсь в самую кромешную тьму.
Серия прервана. Вражеское двойное убийство.
Когда я теряю ориентиры, путь ниндзя направляет меня. Ха!
Мы опережаем KAZO. Вражеская серия убийств. Неудержимый. Серия прервана. Двойное убийство.
Благородство крепче любой брони.
Союзник убил лорда. Отступаем.
Я здесь, чтобы покончить со злом.
Отступаем. Наша башня была уничтожена. Отступаем. Боевое заклинание готово. Союзник убит.
Я выигрываю, даже не начав битву.
Отступаем. Отступаем. Следуйте за лордом. Отступаем. Мы убили врага.
Великолепное танкование. Великолепная игра.
Ваша команда уничтожила башню. Ультимейт не готов. Союзник убит.
У врага нет боевого
Ваша
заклинания.
команда уничтожила башню. Ваша команда уничтожила башню. Отступаем. Мгновенное убийство. Сыграно.
Великолепный урон. Великолепная
Серия
игра.
прервана. Союзник убит. Отступаем.
Когда я теряю ориентиры,
Отличная игра.
путь ниндзя направляет меня.
Мы опережаем по золоту. Внимание на фланг.
Благородство крепче любой брони.
Подождите меня. Окей.
За что сражается ниндзя? Хаябуса.
Союзник убит. Вражеская серия убийств. Убит.
Ниндзя.
Двойное убийство. Атакуйте лорда. Отступаем. Ультимейт не готов. Наша башня была уничтожена.
Убийство в одиночку.
Серия хорошо сыграна.
Я выигрываю, даже не начав
Атакуйте
битву.
лорда. Нужна помощь.
Понятно.
Внимание
Высшее духовное состояние — это мое стремление и мое оружие.
Нужна помощь!
Другой, но такой же смертный.
Враг убит! Враг убит! Убийца лорда!
Великолепная игра.
В атаку! Отступаем!
Понятно.
Нашу башню атакуют!
Я здесь, чтобы покончить со злом.
Вас убили!
Следуйте за лордом. Следуйте за лордом. Следуйте за лордом.
Ваша команда уничтожила башню! Отступаем! Враг убит! Отступаем! Отступаем! Окей, ультимейт не готов.
Мое лезвие ведет туда, где правит страдание. В поисках света я погружаюсь в самую кромешную
Мгновенная
Убийство!
великолепная игра.
Серия убийств! Серия прервана!
Великолепная игра.
Мы опережаем по золоту.
Моя слабость тяготит меня.
Убили! Отступаем! В атаку! Окей. Внимание на фланги! Внимание на фланги! Мега-убийство! Серия прервана! Отступаем!
Великолепное танкование. Великолепный урон.
Хорошо сыграно! Хорошо сыграно! Хорошо сыграно!
Я
Нужна
выигрываю,
помощь!
даже не начав битву.
Нестабильная сеть! Отступаем! Окей.
Понятно.
Внимание на фланги! Нужна помощь! Подождите меня!
Я здесь, чтобы покончить со злом.
Мгновенное убийство! Хорошо сыграно! Наша башня была уничтожена! Союзник убит! Нужна помощь! Спасибо!
Мое лезвие ведет туда, где правит страдание.
Отступаем! Нашу основную башню атакуют!
Да что сражается мир?
Отступаем!
В поисках света
Вражеская
я
серия
погружаюсь
убийств!
в самую кромешную тьму.
Атакуйте лорда! Вас
Наша башня была уничтожена. Отступаем!
Атакуйте вражеского лорда!
Атакуют!
Атакуйте вражеского лорда!
Наша башня была уничтожена. Нашу основную башню атакуют!
Это мое стремление и мое оружие.
Ультимейт не готов. Нашу башню атакуют! Наша башня была уничтожена.
Когда я теряю ориентиры,
Внимание на
путь
фланг.
направляет меня.
Нашу основную башню атакуют! Нашу основную башню атакуют! Была уничтожена! Отступаем! Прятана!